Alright, we're good.
Be like,
Bussin' with the boys, hanging with the fellas, betting on a game. No woman's gonna tell us what to do, and I've been over here just drinking beer and making that noise. Baby, I'm hanging with the fellas, bussin' with the boys.
Bro.
Welcome to another episode of Bussin' with the Boys. This is episode 313. Everybody in the 313. That's right, Mitch. We have an incredible episode. Our interview with Brian Baldinger, Baldy Breakdowns. He is so old school and just, that was a shitload of fun. We're going to get to him. Before that, we have a recap out right now in the locker room that you guys can check out. It dropped last night where we have Brian Baldinger on and we're kind of breaking down championship weekend. We'll touch on that a little bit in this episode, but a lot of that recap, if you want to hear all about championship weekend, the locker room that we dropped last night, you can go check it out. We'll be talking our weekends. We'll be talking, the boys had a stream on our last Friday. What else are we going to be covering, you think?
Dave Ziegler. Assistant GM for the
Ziegler,
Titans.
assistant GM for the Titans.
Chaparral High School.
Yeah.
Might have become the greatest high school of all time.
The boys will be breaking bread throughout this intro. This episode is brought to you by the one, the only, the Chevy Silverado. Playoff season reminds us that every weekend counts, and to help you pack more into your weekend, Chevy has packed more into the Silverado Trail Boss, more capability, more muscle, more smarts. I thought they were describing me there for a second, but we're talking about the Silverado Trail Boss, the truck that says no to nothing. Tailgates, road trips, DIY projects like transforming an old bus into a recording studio, maybe. Bring it on. And as a Silverado guy myself, I say all the time, bring that shit on. That's because the Silverado Trail Boss has everything you need for anything the weekend calls for, with 495 pounds of torque, 495 pounds per, what is it? Labs foot? Per
Libs?
pounds per foot. 495 pounds per foot of torque, Z71 suspension, and a 2-inch factory lift. The Trail Boss has top-tier strength and agility paired with all the latest truck tech inside and out. The result is a truck that can do it all. Then show up on Monday with a story for the ages. So learn more about the Silverado Trail Boss at Chevy.com. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Let's drive.
bring it on.
Let's drive. Super Bowl 2 weeks away.
I know.
2 weeks away.
The
Football
Chiefs,
season is almost over.
the
One
Chiefs
more
are
game.
inevitable, man. The Chiefs are fucking inevitable.
Yet you still think the Eagles are going to win.
I love the Eagles in this game. I love the Eagles. I do. Shout out Drew Tranquil. Obviously, yes, we will be talking about the red team, the Chiefs. I think that's what has to happen. If the Chiefs win, I can't say their name or refer to them for an entire year.
Yeah, that might have to be it. Yeah. Or every week you should have to bet on them, whether you want to or not.
But that's a pretty good.
You're gonna end up on.
That's a good scenario.
It's a win and a punishment at the same time.
Spotlight a player for the Chiefs. Just break down Drew Tranquil every week.
Yeah. You've been fighting the Chiefs thing for multiple years now. They've won 2 Super Bowls in a row, possibly 3. Is there a punishment possibly for Will Compton if the Chiefs three-peat?
No.
Is that a conversation worth having right now?
I think that's it, is I can't say their name. I can't
I think we leave it to the floor, boys. What do we think? Do you think Will should have to
no.
shave his head?
No,
Dye his
sir.
hair?
No, sir.
Buy Jack a Silverado?
I think the Chiefs, like, you're not allowed to say the Chiefs' name, and if he does, then there should be like some sort of like type of slap on the wrist.
No warnings.
No
One
warning.
strike rule.
Just and then it's like kind of like a little slap on the like.
Yeah, but how much? But it's got to be a lot because Will makes a lot of money.
$100 to all the boys.
Every time Will says the Chiefs, he's got to put $100 in there.
Yeah.
At the end of the year,
We split it.
we get to nice dinner.
Yeah.
We get to go to a nice dinner on Will.
We're going to go to like McDonald's.
I mean, that might be more than a nice dinner.
Yeah, we'll
That-
we'll
that
take a
might- that might
plane.
be like a
we'll take
nice
a plane
vacation.
somewhere. Yeah, take a plane, grab a dinner, plane back.
Fuck, man.
I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, we've got to do something, man. He's really, he's been the reason, the core of the Chiefs having success. Them in the locker room on a day-to-day basis being like, I'm tired, I'm hurt. Think about Compton. Think about that. You think Travis Kelce's and telling the boys, listen, we lose, he wins. That's essentially their slogan in the Chiefs kingdom right now. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
bro, I feel so bad for Josh Allen and the Bills.
how do you feel
Bills
about
Mafia.
how do you feel with the curse jar?
I'm down to do that. I'll
Okay.
do that.
$100.
$100.
I'm not allowed to say their name.
Every time he says the word Chiefs.
And if I say Chiefs, I have to put 100 in the jar.
It's just the word Chiefs. He can talk about
they-
Mahomes.
If they win the Super Bowl,
If they win the
If
Super
they
Bowl.
win the Super Bowl.
won't have to worry about it.
Yeah. I do love the Eagles.
Yeah.
I love, like, outside of the Chiefs hate, because the Chiefs, like, it is cool to see what they're doing. I will say that.
I mean, you literally tweeted, I think it's time to start rooting for the Three-Peat.
I was in such a mental blender. I didn't know what I needed to do anymore because I was taken to my knees from the Bills' lack of success in that game.
I know. And we talked about in the locker room, you saw Josh Allen, dude. That first series, the first
Those first two series, you're just like, settle down, bro.
Hey, it's
settle
all good.
down.
You are the man. You're the fucking man.
And then when they had that series in the second half where they're just running the ball, they only threw it one time on that drive. It's just like, man, I wonder if if they come into that game thinking, hey, let's continue to build around the run and Josh Allen will open up for them like they've done all year long.
And Cook really started to find his stride. Like he was getting those gritty 3-4 yards and he started popping them off for 10, 12, 15. Like he was doing his thing.
And then when Josh was trying the one-on-ones and they always seemed to be against McDuffie, like McDuffie just had that shit locked up. It's like when the Chargers were trying Singleton from the Texans in that first week of the playoffs. It's like, hey, stop throwing at that guy.
Yeah.
He's got these guys strapped
He's got
into
it.
a
It's
chair.
over. Yeah. Tucking them in, put them in a car seat in for a drive.
I wanted to say this during the locker room. I saw the stat. I was doing the prep sheets for you guys. In the first half, the entire half, James Cook only had 4 rushes. And then that third quarter drive where they just ran down the Chiefs' throat, he had like 6 for like 40 yards on that drive alone.
And didn't look
That's what I'm
tired.
saying. Your horse James Cook is only touching the ball 4 times in the first half.
Yeah. The good thing, so yeah, you obviously heart goes out to Josh Allen and the Bills. Like we all wanted them to win that game. If the Bills do end up pulling that game off, the way their defense is such a liability, you think it's a massive blowout possibly with the Eagles, with their run game, the way they're able to operate and have explosive plays the way they do. Like this is a better matchup to decide who's the world champion this year.
Yeah. Because I do think Philadelphia stacks up better in the majority of positions.
Yeah.
If you go by position group, you got running back, offensive line,
Yep.
receivers,
Yep.
quarterback's the Chiefs.
Yep.
Tight end is Chiefs. Like you go Travis
Yeah.
Kelce, even though
Yeah.
Goddard's been playing his ass off.
But it's still Travis Kelce.
Defensively, both very good defenses.
Yeah,
but I do
we'll put it
think
at
the
50-50
Eagles.
split.
I do think the Eagles. I mean, outside
Statistically,
of
the
like
Eagles are
Chris
better.
Jones, but you got Jalen Carter. You got the guys up front. You have Zach Bond and Oren Burks, who's filled in very well for
The exciting whites.
Yeah, for Dean. Yeah, the exciting whites on the outside. Cooper DeJean is a baller, bro. Blankenship. Quinyon Mitchell, he's a stud. Slay.
They pretty much have them in every single category except for quarterback and head coach, which is
Two pretty big pieces.
two pretty big
pieces.
I mean, you see like the first drive by the Chiefs, like their top 15 plays were the perfect top 15 plays. Their third and shorts were the perfect calls for third and shorts. Their 4-minute was done perfectly.
Yeah.
They just understand. And they know that like Eagles are not going to give you those little tiny chunk plays or those little 5-yard throws every once in a while. And I bet you there's going to be a whole new game plan, whole new idea of how to expose this elite Eagles defense.
Yeah. And I know we covered it on the locker room, but that was a first down. That 4th and 1 was a first down.
Could have been a first down, absolutely, but there were so many other variables in that game that the way
the refs were running out there, it should have been spotted a first down. And then the review, it could have been up in the air, but it would have went the Bills' way.
Right.
Like they were running out there.
I know one guy on one side of the yard line, the other guy on the other. Like
Heads up
inside,
play by
outside.
Drew Tranquil too, right there, because he got in the way of that one side ref to where he kind of had to go backwards or go around him.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Because you guys didn't get to give your opinions on the locker room.
My main thing, aside from the actual play of it, as fans and Americans, even though the two better teams won, we were robbed to have the two greatest football fan bases be together in New Orleans. And the content that could have come from Bills Mafia versus the Philadelphia Eagles fan base, it would have been historic. And that makes me sad. But I do think that the two better teams won, and it'll be fun. Perfect. Sorry, diabetic, blood sugar crashing out. But yeah, that's my thing. I do think that there's obviously plays that went both ways for I think the fan bases. But that first down, I agree with you, Will. That was a first down to me. I hate it for Kincaid. That was a brutal drop. And
Yeah, he's got to catch that ball.
I mean, it's a diving catch, but God,
It's not like he's
man,
got to catch that. It's a hard catch.
it's a hard catch.
Hard catch, but
hard-
that's when you have to.
He had to come back to it. He was-
Dude, Mac
was
Hollins made 5 catches harder than that one. Like that is, it's not ideal, but that is like very catchable.
Yeah.
Right. Like you
Oh, I
got
hate
drafted
this conversation.
to do this.
But he's
I
not.
hate
He's
it.
not wrong. Like that's what we get paid to do. You get paid to make plays.
Yeah, I get it.
It's a hard catch, but
I do. I understand. I'm just. I think there's like a triggering thing for me sitting in living rooms with people that are like overweight, being like, "You gotta catch that." It's like, look at you. You don't fucking catch that.
Yeah. Well, I'm coming
And
down
it's
with that rock.
Right.
I get
I've
it.
come down with that pass 10 times in my front yard.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Like that. He should have caught the ball. He should have caught the ball.
And how is there not more technology for angles and figuring out?
Apparently
if
they
things-
had
Where's
the
the sky
overhead.
cam at?
Apparently they had the sky cam, but they cut it out when they go into commercial. Like they cut it quick, and nobody's showing that angle because
he's
they
over
want
that
the
line.
Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
All these sports got all this technology for views of everything. In football, like we're just sitting here looking at Chris Jones' head, and then he takes his helmet off. He's crying for the 5th time.
He does always got
He's
water.
always crying.
He's got
He's
tears
always
frozen
crying.
like on his face.
Which during the national anthem, every time they go to him and he's got some tears streaming, he's a good crier. I think it's a badass look.
Yeah.
But they get a stop and he goes off and he's crying. It's like, what, Chris?
I know.
Like, it's also like this is not like if Chris is on the Bills and they get that stop and they're going to the Super Bowl, all the tears in the world. Like, brother, this is your 3rd time. Jack, your blood sugar's still low.
They know nothing except championships and Super
Right.
Bowls.
Like this is 7 times in a row you've been doing an AFC championship. Like, you got tears over that? Yeah.
And just to play on the other side of it, the whole tush push that the Buffalo Bills try is just so brutal to
It's
watch. They don't do it
predictable.
right.
It's not a tush push. It's a quarterback sneak.
Yeah, they're running a true quarterback sneak.
Yes. They're trying to take advantage of a gap in a quarterback sneak. A tush push is someone pushing your tush.
But I think everybody calls it tush push because James Cook is lined up back there like he's ready to push him, but he never really pushes him too much.
It's a lateral step and then forward.
It's like you watch. It's like you watch the Eagles do it. They have the blueprint. All them hogs are down in 4-point sprinter
Yeah.
stances, ready to come off the ball, and they got like 8 guys back there trying to push Jalen Hurts forward.
And also Josh Allen, bend the knees. He's going into his tush push, like standing straight up and then ducks and goes.
Because part of him, like he did one time, he jumps over.
Yeah.
He's a hero.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is a true hero. He really is, man.
This solves the problem. You put like it has soccer, VAR. There's like a chip in the ball, and they have all these sensors around the stadium, so like you can go tell if like the ball say crosses the goal line, if the guy was offsides. Like you can easily put a chip in this football.
Yeah. How do we not have chips in the football?
How do we not have chips in the football? I don't
Yeah,
know,
can we not
man.
get
What
chips
the
in the
fuck are we doing with the chips in the football?
Even for some of the kicks and field goals, where people are like, did that go in? Did that not go in? I feel like it would be so easy to just have like a laser sensor on the top of the upright. Am I crazy?
Yeah, let's get some laser sensors out there, dude. Let's get James Bond. Let's get 007.
Come on.
Yes.
Going back to the tush push and kind of changing games, but that tush push stuff with the Eagles and Commanders on like the 1 yard line for 5 minutes was the most insane thing of all time.
Such
Yo,
a badass
Lou
move on
was
the
just
ref too,
pissing
saying
me
we
the
can
fuck
award a
off.
score
Yeah.
if you guys keep doing this. Because in Luvu's defense, like, do it. Keep fucking doing it, man.
What are
Like,
you supposed to do?
try to guess exactly, and then finally he goes, "We can award a score," and they just like they get like 5 yards.
Yeah.
they just buried him after that.
Lubu diving was so funny. So
It's
awesome.
insane, and the fact that he's like,
And
they always
Jalen
kind
kind
of
of just
run out of
moves
the way.
Yeah, Jalen kind of just moves to the side.
I mean, dude, desperate times call for desperate measures. If I'm Luvu, I don't feel bad about that one bit. Like
No,
the
you're
game,
trying to
like the
take a
game's
chance,
over.
man. Yeah.
The only chance you have is to get the stop right there, and you get penalized like a quarter of an inch.
Well, I don't know if it was after that, but there was a moment in that game where he timed up the snap perfectly and blew up a run.
Luvu
So
You're
was
trying to
like-
make a Troy
Luvu was a
Polamalu-esque play,
madman in that
man.
game.
Yeah.
He was making big plays.
Yeah.
all over the field too.
I know the luck just ran out for Washington. I mean, the Eagles just They couldn't stop him.
That
And you have all those turnovers. You just can't give the ball. You can't turn the ball over.
the
in these
first
games.
drive by the Commanders, we're thinking, oh, we're gonna have ourselves a fucking game. Go for it twice on fourth down. I was dumbfounded that they didn't go for it a third time. It's like, you guys have drawn a line in the sand.
And leaning on too, like knowing that the Eagles are playing man and just kind of beating them to the outside on those out routes that they kept hitting to kind of like whether they were in 4th and short or 3rd and short. I know they had a good first drive, and then all of a sudden the Eagles. I literally went to the bathroom and came back out. I'm like, what happened? I saw just Saquon celebrating. I'm like, damn, he just ripped a 60-yarder.
And their backup, the dude from Clemson, rookie from Clemson, he brings like a 60-yarder.
Great ball control by him. Him looking up, knowing he's going to get hawked at some point.
Yeah.
Shipley, Will Shipley.
Knew he just didn't have the steam for that, dude.
Yeah. This is too good to be true. They're all going to hawk me.
They're
going to
get my ass, no doubt about it.
Protect the ball.
Yeah. Austin Eckler killed my parlay. All I needed was 9 more yards receiving. The hell we doing, Ott? Come on, babe. Help me out.
Mine was done pretty quickly. Yeah, can't believe that one.
Just heartbreaking, man. Heartbroken for the Bills. We talked about it a little bit in the locker room too. It's like, yeah, it sucks for the Commanders. Wish you guys went to the Super Bowl, but like every Commanders fan is like, hey, what a fucking season though, huh?
Yeah.
Totally different vibes in Buffalo compared to in Washington.
But just imagine if they go on a run too and they just become the Bills of the NFC. Like you have a quarterback. Bills still have still have Josh Allen. And it's like, what do you even say after those games anymore? In your mind, you get more callous to think nothing else matters unless we just win an AFC championship game.
Yeah.
Nothing matters.
Yeah. In his like tenure as a quarterback, I think they've won, say, like 78 combined regular season and playoff games, which is the most of any team to like win that amount of games and not have a Super Bowl appearance. This is crazy.
Imagine one day, bro, and say the Chiefs continue and Josh Allen doesn't win a Super Bowl, Joe Burrow doesn't win a Super Bowl, Lamar doesn't win a Super Bowl. Like one day, all of those quarterbacks will be accepting a gold jacket and all of their speeches will have to talk about how they could never beat Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, or Patrick Mahomes gets murdered and the top 3 suspects of those 3 guys you just said. Like, could you imagine he just does it like the unthinkable and just keeps winning? And anytime you do kind of get past him like Joe Burrow did, they lose. Like, that would be fucking brutal.
Tell you what, we were talking about it too. He wins this one. I think he's very much in the conversation of, are we witnessing the greatest player of all time?
If Josh Allen and Mahomes were reverse teams, if they flip teams, is Josh Allen Patrick Mahomes?
What do you mean?
Like, is Josh Allen the 3-time Super Bowl champion? With
hard to say.
It's hard to say.
Well, that's where you get into the argument of what the Patriots got into. What was it, Belichick or Brady? That's it's essentially what the argument you're getting.
But
into.
That's why in my head I would almost lean like not Patrick Mahomes is incredible. He's going to be the greatest player of all to play this game, in my opinion. Especially if he wins this one. All he's done is go to AFC. All he's done is go to. That's
actually all he's done.
It's all he's done in his first 7 years. Where Brady, it took him a little bit. But I lean saying yes because of Andy Reid and everybody else that they've kind of had. Like it is a team game. Patrick Mahomes is incredible. But I would just say Josh has a lot of similar abilities. Yeah. And you have the mind like Andy Reid. Like Andy Reid also went to the Super Bowl with Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, with the Eagles.
Like he's somebody who's
the
an
winningest coach
mastermind.
in both franchises, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild.
Like Belichick didn't do it without Brady, correct?
Yeah, no.
And after Brady left.
It was bad.
Yeah.
After Brady left.
It's like if Mahomes, for whatever reason, left after this year and Josh became the Chiefs, I don't know.
If you flipped it, okay, so Josh Allen, you could probably say, what about Lamar? Same answer?
Yeah.
Is Lamar, if Lamar's in the Chief with Andy Reid, we're looking at Lamar's the
It's
GOAT?
just crazy.
That's a good question.
Because at the
Joe Burrow, I'd say you think of all the names though, Joe Burrow's the one.
Yeah. Well,
absolutely.
You look at the plays that Mahomes has to make at the end of the games, like the play
Correct.
call is genius. And it's like, it's not a crazy difficult throw. It's just kind of like there. And obviously Mahomes can make insane throws.
Yeah.
But like their throw to clinch the game.
But this is also a conversation I don't like. I like it because it is really interesting, but I also don't like it because I feel like in a way we take away from the greatness.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
The same way, like,
because he's got those throws where he's like laying on the ground or he's sideways making
amazing,
these throws.
bro. He's like
25-yard
scrambling all over the
dive.
place. Even the Super Bowl he lost to Tampa Bay when Tom Brady was a quarterback there, like he had no protection the entire time, and he was still hitting dudes in the chest off his back foot, falling on the ground. Yeah. And it's like, yo, he is the fucking man. And I'm sure the same thing happened with Michael Jordan. Oh, he'd be nothing without Pip and his boys. And I'm sure, I mean, Brady, there's some competitions there. It's like we get used to seeing somebody be so good for so long that like we all like
You have to
can't
almost
justify it
nitpick.
in our brains. Like our brains cannot compute how good it is.
Because when the Bills still had a shot, when the Bills defense bowed up, sacked them a couple times, they had to settle for a field goal. It's like if the Bills go down and win, if the roles are kind of reversed, you're talking about Mahomes not being able to do it or score a touchdown when his team needed a touchdown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, we sit here now being the way that it is, being like, yo, Josh Allen's the man. Like he put his cape on. He was still other than those 2 series, like played an incredible game.
Yeah.
You know?
And give him an opportunity there at the end.
4 fumbles.
When the Spags just
Bills
dialed
had 4
up.
fumbles and got them all. That is crazy.
Yeah.
And what the turnover was, Bills were +1, right?
Yeah, because they recovered.
Yeah, they recovered after.
One.
Oh, that's another one too. Ed Oliver jumping that snap. Yeah. When Patrick Mahomes kind of like let the ball get behind him, I thought he timed it up. I thought that was an incredible jump with the snap.
Me too.
I sat there and I was like, that's where I was on to. Here we go with the refs, man. Because when they showed it, Ed Oliver getting off the snap a little bit, and it's like the ball, he's going before the ball, but the distance
went
between
up.
him and the
He didn't go forward.
right, and he's like in it. I thought, oh my God, like he timed that up perfectly.
And it's funny too when Tom Brady was saying the refs need to let the boys play. Like all the times Brady got protected. I remember thinking about, what was it, Atlanta a couple years ago, like Brady's last year, where it was just the softest looking tackle.
So the 28-3 game?
No. This was just a regular season game.
Oh,
But
okay.
when people are up in arms about the roughing the passer, because it's always been a gray area or a hot topic of contention, it's like it was like the softest little roll tackle that almost like protected Brady, and then he still got called for roughing the passer. Like Brady's had, like that's the reason almost, Mahomes too, but Brady was like the reason for like protecting quarterbacks.
Did you guys feel like Patrick Mahomes heard the voices of everyone being like the flopping is too much?
Yeah, you can tell when
You
he
c-
scores.
When he scores,
And
but there
gets
was a
up.
couple times he got knocked out of bounds. He popped up right away and like dapped up the defensive player.
He definitely knows.
He knows,
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
I think he was like playing into. He heard the voices, he heard the critics, and he like played into the critics' hand by not doing that
By the way, maybe the worst spike attempt of all time.
of all time.
He tweeted, he tweeted
Did he?
about it.
Man.
Are we in the best quarterback era in the NFL, like history?
I think it
I
has
mean,
to be, bro.
I mean,
I
Manning.
mean, we're obviously
Brady,
biased in our generation.
Roethlisberger, Breeze, Rivers,
Romo.
Rodgers.
Romo was nice though.
I know, but,
Rodgers.
like, same position. It's the same position though.
I know, but like
Same position, same time.
the quarterbacks now are more athletic, I would say, like more mobile and like can run. Whereas those quarterbacks that you guys were all just saying were all pocket passers. You're like stereotypical, just standing up there and just dotting up.
But do these guys being able to be mobile like create a better product?
But you're taking away from the field general though. The guy who sits back and just dices cats up. There's something
mean, Joe
beautiful
Burrow.
about that. Joe Burrow, yeah, but Joe Burrow is also mobile.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's technically mobile.
You look at Tom Brady. You look at Peyton Manning back in the day. Say, "Oh, that boy's mobile."
He's got some rushing
Hell
yards.
no,
He got some rushing yards. Drew Brees.
dude. There's a play. I don't know what game it is. If it was a big game or not, where they ran a fake power where Peyton Manning booted to the left, and he still almost got his ass caught. But the only reason why that play worked is because everyone was like, "There's no fucking way Peyton Manning is running this ball."
And if he does, we'll catch him.
We'll get his ass. Yeah, we're gonna get his ass. It's different, man. It's kind of what Baldy was saying in the interview. Is like everyone's just bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah, the game just evolved so much that
It's
these
evolved in a
quarterbacks now, you almost
crazy
have
way.
to be able to be mobile.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy about Brady.
Yeah.
What do you said
Manning,
that's what's crazy
too.
about Brady?
Just because he did it in both eras.
Yeah.
Like he beat Patrick Mahomes, he beat Peyton Manning. Like he did everything a quarterback could do. Where in the Michael Jordan, LeBron type stuff, it's like, oh, they never played against each other type deal. And like with Tom Brady, he played long enough to where he did play against all these people.
Right.
Right.
So even like it's, Mahomes, say he wins the Super Bowl, say he wins another one and he's going to have an incredible career that's going to trump Tom Brady no matter what. Him and Brady faced off, Buccaneers, Chiefs, and Brady got him.
Yeah, but that's the only one he loses.
Is Brady calling the Super Bowl?
But it's to Brady.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna lose to
think so
one
too.
person,
For sure.
you're losing to the guy.
And
you're
with
being
Michael, it's like
compared
the
to.
year he retired to go play baseball. That same team still went to the championship game.
Mhm.
Lost.
Yeah, the Bulls still went all the way to the semifinals.
Yeah, I mean Brady's at the Super Bowl. Why don't we get him on the bus? Talk to him about if Pat Mahomes wins this one, does he unseat you?
It would be awesome.
It'd be so great. I know. It'd be so great to have Tom Brady on, man.
I think we'll
He'd be
get him at
elite.
some point.
I think we will. I mean, we were kind of
Optimistic.
close about, what, a year and a half ago?
Yeah,
A
when
little
we
bit of
were at the Super
conversations
Bowl.
happening?
When you did that picture.
Yeah, because he followed your boy. I still
Hmm.
got him. He's still a follower of mine.
Is he go periodically check on him?
Yeah,
Quarterly check on
sometimes-
Brady?
Yeah, sometimes he goes, let's go. Let me go. I'll hear him on TV. Let me go see if he still follows. Yeah.
He's gotten better, too. He's gotten better at announcing. You can see him getting more comfortable. He's doing what all of us want him to do, is talk about his times. Back in my day, this is what I like to see. Like, that's what everybody wants from Tom
When
Brady.
he's looking at Big Dick Nick in the suite, and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm jealous because you caught it and I didn't.
Right. That's the stuff that I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, he's starting to understand the process.
Yeah.
Lower third is so funny.
Yeah.
7-time Super Bowl champion. NFL
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people on Twitter you'll see disagree with that. Like, they're like, for some reason, people hate hearing Tom Brady do what he's doing now.
Everyone's gonna hate.
Yeah, but
Everyone's
like,
hating
if
on
you have the
something.
greatest quarterback of all time, arguably the greatest athlete of all time, talking about his time and what he'd like to see,
Mm-hmm.
why would that not be helpful and bring some sort of entertainment to you sitting in your living room, like listening to that,
Yeah, I think
to understand the game just a little bit more?
I think guys just like that traditional, like, a Joe Buck type guy.
Joe Buck's great.
Like
Awesome.
they if they had a third analyst, it could be like,
Bro, where people are gonna be
Not
like,
that
hey,
side.
it's not about you. Talk about the game. Make it
Right.
about the game,
Right.
not you.
I did see
See,
someone
that's
had a
People also hate on Romo too, but I thought Romo did
Why
good
do you
in
hate
this.
Romo?
I like Romo.
I love
like-
Romo.
I
I like
mess with
Romo
Romo.
too.
They hate on Romo.
People
They hate on
People
Romo.
really do hate on Romo a lot.
And dude, he still do like when he first came on the scene, the big thing was crystal ball Romo. He's always calling out the next play that's going to happen. He did that a couple of times in this game. Had a couple misses too, but he was like, it was like 3rd and 1 or whatever in the 4 minutes. He's like, oh, you're gonna see Patrick Mahomes fake it and roll out here.
yeah, because you
Like
see,
textbook fake it, roll out, which is you could call that play,
you
but
see,
he's still doing it.
Dave tweeting too. He's like, he keeps talking about the unstoppable tush push. Like the Bills are like they never get the tush push.
And it's also not a fucking tush push.
They line it up like it's a tush push.
I know, but they don't do the tush push.
I think they attempt to try.
It's not the same thing. Their quarterback sneak is what it is. He's sneaking the ball in an area. The tush push is 3 guys lined up behind, going straight forward, no fair dodging, and everyone's pushing the tush in the direction.
Bills have one guy doing it.
Bill, yeah. One guy doing it, and he also
One guy doing it, trying, and Josh goes a different way anyway.
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
looking to throw it too in the middle of it being held up.
I'm thinking to myself, dude, if you're gonna do this quarterback sneak this many times, like, why aren't you having some guy just leak out of there real quick?
Derrick Henry jump pass.
Yeah, or snap, like do some different shit. Like if everyone thinks
I
you're
mean,
doing
college ball was doing it. They were doing a lot of creative things
Right.
off of the tush push kind of
that,
lineup.
we need to bring back the Tim Tebow pop pass. That's what we need. Josh Allen in the gun, offset gun, run straight forward, 3-4 hard steps, boom, tight end.
Who was the team that did it to where ultimately they snapped under the quarterback's legs and then the running back takes it to the right?
That's a great play too.
Texas did it a couple of times this year.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Teams
what
are
it-
trying to get creative out of that formation.
And that's why the Chiefs have been so successful. Andy Reid, his creativity, his playbook. Baldy was talking about it on the locker room. Like there's a playbook, but his playbook's like time. It's just a never ending.
Yeah,
There's always something new.
yeah.
Derrick Henry popping that thing
It'll
up.
be an awesome game. We'll see if the Eagles can get it this
Yeah.
time around. Twice in 3 years.
Right.
It's a great matchup.
It's a great matchup. It's a great matchup. It's fun too because I feel like Eagles fans are excited, Chiefs fans are excited, and everyone else is just like, I'm excited to watch the Super Bowl. Like these are two franchises that
Yeah.
like don't have like we're getting behind this team. There's not like a nation behind one team. Like if the Bills made it,
Some people
the
hate
whole
that both
nation is
teams are
behind
in.
I know.
Yeah.
Then you just want chaos. I would just love to see some chaos.
Have the lights go out.
Yeah, I would just love to see chaos, but ultimately, I want to see the confetti come down on the Eagles, as everybody knows.
I might put like a big boy bet on this.
And I
one.
was telling you, you were kind of saying the last drive. Like I was kind of giving a scenario. The perfect ending would be if it's Mahomes backed
I
up,
was talking to
2
Jared about this
timeouts,
too, like-
2-minute drill,
Like
and it's Mahomes having to win the game for the Chiefs,
Yeah.
or the Eagles defense
minute
blowing up and
25
stopping
left in the game,
Chiefs.
2 timeouts. You're on the 25-yard line. You're down by 4. You give it to Patrick Mahomes. Like you think in your mind, he's pulling that off. No doubt about it. Same
I don't
scenario.
know about no doubt about it, but that's ultimately what I want to see.
No, your mind is going to go to he's going to get it done. Like Patrick, this is
You're kind of
this is the aura this is what
you're
we've
kind of
decided.
giddy to see if he's going to get it done.
Right.
It's like when Tom Brady was backed up against you guys when Logan Ryan picked it off.
Yeah.
But even though there was still seconds, time on the clock, you're sitting there like, is
He's
Tom
gonna
Brady going to
fucking do
fucking
it.
pull
Yes.
this off? I do want to see
Right.
something like that with
But
the Chiefs.
So you would lean and you're more confident in Patrick Mahomes getting that done. Now flip it. Jalen Hurts, he is a great quarterback. He's all the statistics that Baldinger was talking about, but he's throws for like between 150 and 200 yards a game. Like he's not like a guy dicing people up. If you're on the 25-yard line, you have a minute 25, 2 timeouts. Do you think Jalen Hurts is pushing the ball down the field
He's done it before in some games.
in a crunch time Super Bowl game?
Right, this is the Super Bowl, but ultimately, like it's like the Chiefs won. Patrick did it against them a couple years ago. Like Jalen ultimately led that down to take the lead on him.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to get away because I do have a lot of respect and appreciation for Jalen Hurts. I'm just saying if the ball is in the hand of Pat, I lean towards he's gonna get this done. Like that's the kind of you've seen it, you feel it. Like there's an aura about him. With Hurts, it's like he is such a great quarterback, but people knock him on the throws sometimes. They knock him on his ability to push the ball downfield. He lets the athletes around him kind of get the yards for him. Like that's just the narrative around these two quarterbacks to where, I don't see that getting into that crunch time. Like just maybe because that's how it's been painted to me.
I'd like to see a situation where the Eagles are around midfield and it's 4th and a long 2, maybe 3.
Oh.
To where the question is are they going to tush push this to ice the game? Or are they going to punt the ball? It's too long, so they choose to punt the ball. Mahomes is backed up inside the 10 with, a minute and some change on the clock with 2 timeouts. And it's like, did the Eagles just make the biggest mistake of their life? Or are they going to stop Mahomes? That is what I would love to see in the Super Bowl.
I need that clipped for when that happens.
Which
I need that right there. What Will just said clipped, and then when the game happens and it's the 4th quarter, and that needs to go viral.
I have a fun update on the Chiefs jar. Currently, in the last 20 minutes, we've already racked up $1,200. If that was live,
yeah, that's yeah.
If that bet was live,
if that bet was live,
and Will will do a great job. Will will do a great job the first week and a half.
Yeah.
After the Chiefs, if the Chiefs win, after that we'll be having $1,200 days. There's no doubt about it.
Come on.
Play call would you do?
Who are you talking about?
Eagles.
Oh, if I'm the Eagles in that 4th and long 2, I think you try to ice them and go for the tush push.
I agree. I don't think you tush push it though.
I think you tush push that motherfucker, dude.
I think you give it to Saquon.
Yeah, I mean that's a good call too.
Yeah.
But to your point,
End around.
you're like, do we give
And
Mahomes?
around is a great.
Do we give Mahomes
lineup.
the
They think
ball
coming.
with this time left?
like it.
For me, I'm thinking we got to figure out a way to convert this 4th down.
4th and long 2.
Long 2. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think you go for it though.
Because if you're sitting there like,
Okay, definitely go for it.
Definitely go for it.
yeah,
I think to me the tush push is the one in question.
On the 50?
if it's 21-17, maybe you pump because that means your defense has been playing fairly well up to this point.
No.
If it's 31-27, maybe no. Maybe you
punt.
fucking.
Okay, here's
you
the
don't
argument.
punt.
Okay, it's the same thing. Shoes on the other foot. It's 4th and 2 for the Chiefs, and they're on the 50. Are you still screaming no to punting the ball away?
They're going to have some crazy ass play to get that.
Yeah, they're gonna get that. They're gonna
No,
pass
but
it.
I know. Yeah, but I'm saying like
dude
the
will be
fear
wide open
of us
somehow.
saying the Eagle, like this situation, the Eagles punting is a death sentence. Is basically what we're all feeling. You can't punt it away.
I don't think it's. I would love to see the
Bro,
like.
you got
the number
Patrick
1
Mahomes-
defense.
Defense winning.
Patrick
against
Mahomes having the
Patrick
opportunity to
Mahomes.
win the game. That's terrifying. If you flip the script, are you still thinking it's terrifying for the Chiefs to punt the ball away right now with that exact scenario you just said? And the answer is no. It's not as scary to you.
I think you want the ball in your hand, though.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with the kicker thing. I'm just saying.
You want the ball in your hand. I'm not giving it up.
End the game with the ball in your hand. Yes, you have to go for it. 50-yard line.
I don't because
And you see-
again, Taylor.
there was such an argument about that last
Taylor, if
year
you're up
about
by
you should
4,
be going. You should be going for it. Now everyone's going for it. You can pass the 50.
But here's the thing, though, bro. They need a touchdown, not a field goal. They need a touchdown.
We've seen it too many times, bro. They're the
Touchback punt. You're like, oh fuck.
They're the
But still,
two-time
defense,
defending
ball,
champs.
This is it.
2-time defending champs. Go on the ready to three-peat. And you're gonna go, arguably this kid might be the greatest quarterback of all time. Let's punt the ball to him. That is fucking nuts. Crazy. You cannot.
But ultimately, that
cannot.
would make
You're
for an
bringing in
incredible
another-
Super Bowl.
21-17, you're on the 50-yard line. It's like, okay, our defense has still been playing good. It's like, if this situation happens, which it very well could, Sirianni, you have to go for it. You have to go for it.
Yeah, I
You gotta
think they
bring
will.
another
Yeah, I think they
lineman
will.
in. You're pushing.
I
Everyone's
don't
getting
But
think-
ultimately, you want the situation to where they're opting to punt the ball. Because Mahomes backed
gotta be
up.
at 4th
To
and
go
5.
win the game, they need a touchdown, not a field goal. I would just love to see the best defense versus Patrick Mahomes in this biggest moment to go for the three-peat, or they end it on just the last drive of the
That's
Super
one of
Bowl.
those-
And if he pulls it off, you bend that knee.
If he pulls it off,
this exact
you're a
situation,
witness. You're a witness.
You're a witness.
And you're happy that you're
we
a
were
witness.
lucky to be alive to
Yeah.
watch
Yeah.
this.
It's one of those. All the flashes in the crowd start going off.
And it's
as
like,
soon
yeah,
as they
where
go
were
line
you?
up
Where were
for
you
the
when
drive.
conversations
Yeah.
happen?
But it's not going to
that's
happen though.
juicy.
That is fucking juicy. That is juicy.
We think Gilly's going to run the team out the tunnel at the Super Bowl.
Maybe that boy Gilly's been on a generational
have-
run.
He's
with the
been
Eagles.
crushing it.
They gotta suit him up.
Have to.
I need him in pads,
Yeah.
helmet, cleats, and on the sideline, helmet in hand. It has
with a
to
water
happen.
bottle and towel just to get the
That's
boys
so
right.
funny.
That's the last, Gilly is the ultimate fan. He's achieved it all. I think the only way you can go further is to convince a team to let you suit up with them.
At the Super Bowl.
And that's it. Nobody else will ever top that.
Here's a question: who do you think Jason Kelsey's pulling for in the Super Bowl?
Ooh, Chiefs.
That's crazy.
I don't
Think
know.
his bro's gotten him.
He's pulling for
he's
bro.
sitting there like,
He's
you
pulling
know
for
what?
bro's three-peat.
You think so? I'm sure he'll say that. I'm sure that'll be the public.
You know his wife's not.
Definitely
his
not.
wife is Eagles all
She
the
wants
way.
Trav to go 0 receptions, 0 yards, 2 fumbles. None
She's
recovered.
a real one.
You think
she
there's
is a real
You
one?
think there's a part of Jason that doesn't want to see the Eagles win since he retired?
No, I don't think he has that kind of.
Okay. Because
Dude,
you went
every
Chiefs
player,
hard.
every player has that piece of them. It's like,
But he
whether it's-
won.
Yeah, whether it's angry or not, it's like I wish I was a part of it though. Like you're like, damn.
Oh, yeah.
maybe
But
I
Jason
should've played
also
more
got
year.
one.
Yeah, he got one, but I'm saying like this situation, he's kind of like,
That's
they
why,
lost,
that's
it
why I
wouldn't be
feel
the
like
worst
he
thing in the
pulled
world,
for the
though.
Eagles because I don't think he has that where he's like, oh damn, maybe like bummed a little bit. Maybe he's bummed that both of these teams are in the Super Bowl and he doesn't want either of them to win. But it's like if you're Jason, you almost want to see the Eagles do it because they're playing the fucking Chiefs again.
It's still it's basically your team without.
Yeah, it's your team without you. And
They're going to have
he's
a
like,
viral podcast after the Super Bowl regardless. Because if they lose, Jason will just probably chirp him a little bit, be like, damn, Eagles.
yeah.
yeah, they'll be back on top again, man. New heights.
It's like it's basically
They
another
reach
new
new
height
heights
Super
every
Bowl.
year.
Yeah, reaching new heights every year.
Another new height Super Bowl. The Kelsey Bowl.
Kicked it off.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
You heard this ad?
Yeah, let's do it. This ain't the little itty bitty teeny weeny bowl. This is the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 59. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the Super Bowl of Super Bowl 59. Scoring touchdowns is key to hoisting the Vince Lombardi Trophy, and you have a shot to score big by betting on them at DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 will get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BUS. That's code BUS for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Obviously the Super Bowl is a super big deal, but also exciting news. Round of applause for Dave Ziegler, assistant GM for the Tennessee Titans,
And Muji.
Darren Muji, GM for the New York Jets.
Chaparral High School greats.
Chaparral High School, man, all accumulated by the man Charlie Regal himself, special teams coach for the ASU Sun Devils.
Yeah.
Just
And then you got
crazy.
Dillingham as the head coach. Like, you guys are a little bit of a football factory
I
out there at
know.
Chaparral.
As Titans fans, how do you guys feel about Ziggy being in?
I mean, I don't think there's like too much to work with. Everyone talks about the Raiders. His like biggest mistake was who did he draft over? Was it over not Jalen Carter, but that was last year. Forget who it was. He has like a historically horrible draft stock that he took 3 years ago, and that's what all the Titans fans were talking about. I don't know if you can find that or not, but so I don't know. I'm indifferent. Love the guy, personal. Like at the Super Bowl, if it wasn't for me, JP, and Garrett being together, he was gonna get two of us into that Drake party that we didn't get into. So,
Which was, by the way, not worth going to.
you know, tomato. But I'm excited though, just like new people behind the rear or the wheel. So hopefully it works out. Chad Brinker's the guy though. It doesn't matter about Borzinga or
Ziegler.
I don't know much about this Chad guy. I don't know.
He's the head of
he's a
football
suit.
operations, but he
Yeah.
is
Basically
the
saying
he is the top.
ultimate G.
Yeah, he's
actually
the head of the
GM.
totem pole.
Right.
So he makes the ultimate call on everything, but I think they're going to work. They said they're all going to work together, obviously, for the best possible product on the field. So it'll be interesting. Love to have a little hopeless optimism. Always.
Yeah.
You got to
The,
appreciate Jack too, because obviously Zig's a friend of the bus, but he's also giving you some like, hey, here's the
this is what
here's
we're
some
worried
thought.
about.
Here's a thought
Can
out
you
there.
find the
He hasn't had the
draft
best
pick
history.
that
Yeah.
he took from the
look at
Raiders?
the draft
The
thing.
thing that
I-
he didn't get credit for, though, was he had the trade in place to draft C.J. Stroud, and Josh McDaniels said, no, we don't need him. They take C.J. Stroud, Dave Ziegler probably
different-
still.
He's still there. Absolutely.
yeah,
That's a good
so-
point.
There's a handful of things that come out of the Raiders. Like he also was the guy who brought Devontae Adams over to the Raiders.
Chandler
And once you bring a guy
Jones, too,
like
maybe?
what's that?
Did he bring Chandler Jones too?
I think he brought Chandler Jones as well. But bringing a guy like Devontae Adams and then Chandler Jones over from Arizona, that you've now thrusted your franchise from a fan base for the fan base to be like, oh, it's Super Bowl or bust now. This
Right.
is what we want.
And you're ultimately at that point betting on Garoppolo.
yeah,
Even though he's had
and
injuries at the time, like you're betting
Yeah.
on Garoppolo to kind of recreate or have any magic that he had because he had time with them on New England. Garoppolo had some success with the Niners. They went to the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
So you're kind of putting all your eggs, since you didn't go Stroud, hey, we don't need him, we got Garoppolo. You made the move away from Derek Carr.
right.
And then when the ship was going down, he probably had an ultimatum like, hey, you got to let go of McDaniels or you both are gone. And he
That
just
is
goes down with
that is the
ship.
rumors where he didn't fire McDaniels and therefore he also got fired.
Right.
Also, Mark Davis is notorious for like having zero patience and just ripping into assistant coaches like on the plane.
Yeah.
I think that was like reported. So that's a tough deal. He was also a guy who brought in Robert Spillane. And if you're able to find little diamonds in the rough like that,
Yeah.
that's the kind of guy you want around. And the thing I know about Zig is he had multiple choices and jobs. Like he was doing consultation for the Saints. Saints wanted him back. I know he was offered the assistant GM job or there was talks about the assistant GM job for the Jets. So he had multiple choices, ended up going to the Titans. Obviously, I want all the success in the world for that guy. I love him. I owe a lot of my career to him, even being able to make it to Michigan. So I hope he crushes.
Mhm.
But it's Chaparral
Good.
High School, man.
Good for the boys. Good for the bus.
Yeah. Good for the bus. It continues. And we broke the news.
We did. Yeah.
Broke
We
the
didn't
news.
necessarily get all the credit for that. So Ian, I saw others kind of commenting on it, and we never got mentioned.
Really?
Yeah, that was weird. They like quote tweeted us too, or Scheffner quote tweeted us, and he's like giving backstory about like
Yeah, with
Ziegler
Taylor.
being like a chaparral guy. I was like, just at least tag us.
You
Just
quote
tag-
tweeted it.
Yeah, but you need that exposure.
Right, the exposure from the Titans are striking a deal with Dave Ziegler per Bussin with the boys.
Has to be per Bussin with the boys.
Per Bussin with the boys.
Per.
It's all good though.
Per.
We know this game. It's a fickle game.
Yeah. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. At the end, we'll see who's on top.
Yeah.
We'll figure all that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out Ziggy, dude. The fucking man.
We talked about it too with Baldy, but also Pete Carroll going to the Raiders.
That's so awesome.
Huge
That's
I love their
massive
post
for the
too. Like they
Raiders.
just had the gum sitting there. They took a photo of the
yeah, I did
field
see
and the
that
gum
photo.
was
It's
kind of
like
blurred out.
big
Yeah,
chunk of
Yeah.
it.
Now that he's there, like, what do you think that they try and do in the draft? Do you think like Shadur, like, do they try and make a move for like
I don't
a
know.
big
I don't know.
splash
You saw the video too of the Titans talking to Shadur.
No.
with
I didn't see
Dion
the video.
FaceTiming?
Do I? Yeah,
Be
yeah,
on
yeah,
like FaceTime in the middle of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the Raiders do. I'm fired up though that they got Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
For
Somebody
sure.
who's
That's
done
that's a culture guy through and
it.
through.
Yeah.
I'm wondering
College
what
and
Max
pros.
Crosby wants too. I don't want to text him and like ask, but like
We'll have him on the bus.
it feels like he's the feeling I have is like he wants out.
He wants out unless you know that there's going to be some stability and they're going all in on winning. Like he just wants to win. He loves
Yeah.
being with the silver and black, but he wants to fucking win at the same time because he's in the prime of his career.
And he is perfect for the silver and black.
Yeah.
He is. If you're thinking about a Raider, that's it.
Yeah.
What other team does Max Crosby fit into vibe wise?
Any of them.
He is
I
the
mean,
vibe.
any of them.
Max
but
is at a
just
point where
that-
he is the culture. He's going to bring that culture. You want to bring him into a team that's like could get like bring him to the Bengals. You bring him to the Bengals, all of a sudden they're fucking.
I don't think he looks as
Bengals.
juicy in that
He
uniform.
doesn't look as
He
juicy.
looked juicy in a Ravens uni.
Oh, he would look juicy in a Ravens uni.
Yeah.
Detroit Lions.
Yeah, which is so crazy to me still. But yeah, the Lions are that type of squad. He's a culture changing type of guy.
Put the Dallas Star on him opposite of Micah Parsons.
Death. Death. Every quarterback is shitting their pants when the schedule gets released.
Yeah.
Tough, man.
How feels like we had some football talk. How was the weekend?
Dude, it kind of shitty.
Yeah?
I had to fly all over the place this weekend. I had to go to Fort Lauderdale and I had to go to Boston to do some stuff for my knee thing and just basically sit there with doctors and then go, oh, your knee's fucked. And I'm like, but it's going to be all right, right? They're like, yeah, but soon, no. And so like they sit there and they're like showing me these things. Like this is where everything's messed up and all this stuff. But then I'm like, they're talking about knee replacements eventually. And I'm like, some doctors are like, hey, when people get knee replacements, they feel better than they ever have before. So I'm thinking, oh, I'll get a knee replacement someday and then just be ripping it. Like we're good. And then I talked to a doctor and he's like, that is not how it works. Like you can lightly jog, but this whole working out thing you're trying to do, that's pretty much over.
Jeez.
So I got about good, I'm going to probably try to make it to 60.
So, maybe
Try to make it to 60. And then at 60,
You gonna rock a cane?
I'll be on that Southwest fucking pre-boards at 60.
Cane would be kind of fun.
Kane would be dope.
So I don't know if you're allowed to like talk or touch on it, but was your knee not fixed in the second one?
It was no, they did a better job on this. Elichosh did a good job on it, but like because of the damage my knee sustained from the first surgery and how it wasn't put in correctly, and so it messed up a bunch of stuff in my knee. Like it's just like, hey, the deterioration is insane. It's bad. But so I had to go to Fort Lauderdale, basically tell me I was mortal. That sucked. And then I had to fly to Baltimore or Boston. I had to stop in Baltimore for 3 hours. I tried to do a 48-hour fast. That was miserable. But I was like, let me just see. I'm going to be away from my family. Like if I'm going to try to do this fast thing, I don't want to be like irritable around them. So I was just irritable by myself. So it was a fucking deal, dude. 48 hours. I did the 48 hours.
Did you get
Did
a
the
couple
48
cranks? Did you
hours.
get a couple cranks in?
Yo, yeah.
You got to burn time.
You got to burn time. You hit that bathroom real quick, you know?
Oh, you did it at the airport?
No,
Oh.
hotels though.
So you're
Hotels, you go
psycho,
nuts
bro.
in a hotel. But yeah, I did that little. I did my second doctor's appointment in Boston, and then I was like, "Hey, where's a good little steak place to go eat at?" Just bellied up to a bar, like by myself, hung out, had a steak, some oysters, a couple of crab cakes. Thought, no, I'm not done. Ordered it again. Said, "Give it to me again."
There you go.
And just sat there, and there's a bunch of people just kind of coming to the bar, hanging out, talking. It was fun.
Yeah?
Dinner by yourself, man. Having a meal by yourself is so elite. So peaceful.
It is peaceful.
First shout outs that we ever did.
Yeah.
My phone was like on 5% too, so I had to give it to the hostess. Hey, you mind charging this for me? I put my bag over there too. So I was like without phone, just people watching. And Boston's low key nice. But
I don't think it's low key.
I don't think I just didn't I wasn't
I've
aware
never
of I
been,
wasn't
yeah.
aware of Boston's game, but like walking around, I was like, it's kind of beautiful.
Seems cool.
And I go into Logan Airport and they have this whole thing of Nantucket. And the only thing I know about Nantucket is Dave's got a nice house out there. So I start reading about Nantucket and it's like, it's really fucking nice.
Well, Nantucket's like the
Nantucket's
spot.
like that, dude. Like they have this little ferry that goes over there. They have a small little airport. Used to be big for the whaling business. And then they started to like, lose a bunch of whales. So they got away from it. But a whole bunch of tourists always come there. It's like one of like the richest areas in the world. It was just sick. It was dope. And I'm thinking to myself, yo, where'd they film The Departed? Where's that at around here? Because you watch The Departed, you're thinking, oh, Boston's kind of just like Patriots fans and gangsters.
Red Sox play there too.
Oh shit, the Red Sox are there too.
Fenway Park.
Celtics.
But I was walking around like, this place is fucking nice. I mess with Boston.
Lot of
Basically, I
history.
mess with Boston.
Lot
Lot of history.
How long were you
They
in
had a
Boston?
tea party.
I flew out. I got there
Oh,
at like
yeah.
2 p.m. on Saturday and flew out 5 a.m. on Sunday. And I was in an office building for 4 of those hours.
Damn.
But I was like kind of just driving around the Uber. It's
You-
beautiful.
You
Dude.
shoot with a text?
No, I didn't shoot nobody a text. I was running that thing solo the whole
Yeah.
time, but it was cool. And I was walking by a couple people. People fuck with the bus out there too.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing out here? Just fucking grabbing a meal, grabbing
Yeah.
a bite.
Just want to fly out here for a
Yeah,
day.
I went to Boston as a kid. Dude, the history there is nuts. Got myself a replica musket when I was a kid. Sat in my room till I have it still somewhere. Shit's awesome, bro. The shit is done. You been to Boston?
Just for that when we did the Barstool Awards. But no, I haven't been to Boston
Dude,
like that.
we got to go to Boston.
I'm down.
We got to go to Nantucket. What we got to go? We got to check out Nantucket.
Whenever we go up and see
I was
Braves,
gonna say when we go see Braves, we will.
Yeah, Frey probably would live in Nantucket too. Just ferry every day to work.
Yeah. You see Brave having a house out there.
No doubt about it. I mean, it is. It is what it is. You want to hit a couple of... What'd you do this weekend?
We went out to Tampa, took the family to Tampa to visit our friends, but Charles' friends. They have 4 kids. We had a blast. We went to the kids museum. We did all things around the kids, but just seeing Rue, they have an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and almost a 1-year-old. So it's just all stuff with the kids. It was cool. It was a lot of fun. And they're like your guys' vibe too, where it's like they make sourdough, like they do all the clean eating, all the clean stuff at all
that's dope.
times. It was cold out there. That was a shitty part. We wanted to go out there so we could have some beach time. But that last week, everywhere in South, you saw even at Rosemary, there's like snow on the beach, like on the sand.
Yeah.
So it was cold out there. We forced a little picnic for dinner time one of the days.
Just
Which was like,
brutal.
we're just out there. Me and Bobby's just out there setting up. You know, you're trying to get the flicks. You're trying to do things where people are enjoying their sandwiches, but at the same time, it's like, hey, are we going to pack up and roll? Like, this was a bad idea.
Freezing out there, huh?
Yeah, it was a little cold, but it was fun, man. I tell you what, being around the family and they have just 4 kids ripping around, it kind of made me want to have 4 kids.
Yeah.
Kind of made me want to have 4 kids.
4 is sick. 4 would be dope.
Yeah, it's all girls too. Like my heart goes out to Bobby every time. Like they had 2 girls, and I remember being at our wedding, and I'm like, "You guys gonna have a third?" Like I'm like, bro, and he's all in on trying to get a boy. Thinking like, do I have another one? I really want a boy, and just seeing him get girl and then another girl. Like, just you got to put your arms around him.
Yeah, you get 3 girls in a row, you think the logical move is to sew it up,
Yeah,
be done. But he went another time. That's what happened to Tony Dews as well.
they might have a 5th,
Really?
maybe. He says he doesn't want to. I'm like, well, are you snipped? He's like, no. I'm like, well, you're not, unless you get snipped, bro. Like you're gonna have 5.
Right. Right.
But it was fun. It was a fun weekend. A
Family
really
Stone,
fun
dude.
weekend.
Family Stone. You guys got to watch that movie. You want to see a movie that's gonna make you want 1,000 kids? Watch Family Stone.
We getting a third one yet?
I mean, not yet. Love practice. All about it, dude. Get in the
Love
film. Love practicing. Take an
Oh,
actual
love
game
practice.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have
Trust
you
me,
been,
boys.
have you been telling Taylor about the
So
full court
Ta-
press we got going
Taylor
on?
has-
With Matthew, with
I've
Kyle,
told
what
her-
Kyle said.
No.
I'll clip that, send it.
Yeah, you should, because I didn't even tell her that people were saying you need to have a third. I basically agreed to have a third. She doesn't know that I'm in to have a third
At
yet.
Christmas time, I pulled her aside and told her, like, I just want you to know we're going to work on him.
She did tell me that. She did tell me that. If you were more focused on your gingerbread house instead of having that conversation, you might have won.
No, I didn't care about gingerbread houses. But I'm just there to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I gotta do it there. Fuck. I mean, I'm stoked. I'm stoked. But also, fuck. It's the diapers for me, boys. And if we're in a safe space, can we just have a safe space for a moment?
Maybe.
Okay. So
Yeah,
if it's not gonna be a safe space.
Oh,
I'll-
safe space.
bro, the diapers. And honestly, you know what? There needs to be a book put out about what dads go through during pregnancy as well. There's a lot of footwork that goes involved. You talk about hey, can you do me a favors? Like, yeah, the post-pregnancy thing is one thing too, but like, dog, you get into that second trimester, really the whole thing. Because the first trimester, they're throwing up the whole time. And it's like, yeah, like you're throwing up. I'm over here handling these kids,
Yeah.
running around.
You're
I'm getting you the water.
You're taking all the projecting.
And this is a safe space. I'm just venting. I'm
Yeah,
just
safe
venting.
space,
I'm
safe
just
space for all the girl
okay?
dads, for all
So
the
we
dads out
can't
there.
like
It's safe
listen, we're not
space
gonna
for the
judge me,
dads.
dude. Don't judge me, but like, and if Taylor, if you see this, you're not allowed to judge either, dude. But it's a lot of work for the dads.
Yeah.
Honey, on my stomach all day. It's like we go, spring tour, right? We'll go, bing, bang, boom. We're gone 24 hours, hardly any sleep. We're back. I've had such a hard day. Did you? No, I'm kidding. I'm playing into it a little bit, but I mean, bro, it's a lot. It's a lot, and I understand that it's worth it. Trust me, I understand that it's worth it. I know that, my boy, you're in it right now, and I can see it on your face how much it's worth it. But it's a lot, dude. And the breastfeeding thing, like Taylor is such a good mom. She's got them kids on the nip for like 15 months. She got them things just suckling down, dude, uttering her. And it's like the hormone thing, they don't balance out until 9 months after. So you're talking about 9 months of pregnancy, which is really 10 months. That's how they get your ass. It's actually 10 months of pregnancy. Then postpartum, that whole 6 week, the darkest 6 weeks of your life. Then you got to breastfeed for 15 months. Hormones are all over the place. You're firing bullets. I got 2 kids yelling at me. I got a wife who is like, from an emotional maturity standpoint, the greatest, but still having a hard time. And then you have 9 months after that. You're talking, that's like 3 years.
Yeah.
That's like, I think Taylor just got out of being hormonal.
Oh gosh.
Not that way.
Oh no.
No. This is a safe
Boy,
space.
Keep digging. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, it's a safe space. I'm not saying she's like irrational. I'm saying like because of that time frame, she's just out of it. And Willow's 4.
Yeah.
I don't feel safe anymore, dude. You guys are not making me feel safe. The bus is extra quiet.
Us, but maybe the listeners.
No, they understood it's a safe space.
60 million listeners.
You guys think I'm out?
60
Think I'm out
million.
of pocket?
If your emotional maturity matches hers, I think you guys crush it.
That means we're fucked.
No, what do you mean?
My emotional maturity is not that great. Hers
That's what I'm
is,
saying. If you match
hers
it,
is fucking.
that's what I'm saying. If you match it, you crush it.
If I match her emotional maturity,
Right. Because you got
You know
obviously
me.
you got to be able to absorb and
no
take
doubt,
the punches.
no
and
doubt,
roll
and
with
we
the
do,
punches.
and we do. But I'm just talking in a safe space right now,
No, I know, but we're trying to talk you into having kids.
and I've already said I'm in. But I'm saying this is where my
So you're
reservations
in.
came
You're
from.
gonna have a third.
Yeah, I've already said. I said it last week with Clay.
Just to be clear, you're gonna have a third.
Yeah.
Say it.
Well, what Will said.
Say, I'm gonna have a third.
No, listen, we can't do this.
Yeah, say I'm gonna have a third
Now I
kid.
feel like we got to cut everything I just said because I feel like Taylor's gonna see this and be like, "Yo, what the fuck?"
This is a good conversation.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
No, I don't feel. You guys made me feel unsafe.
No.
You guys
that's
made
what
me
the
feel
pod's
unsafe.
for,
You guys are letting my
bro. To
insecurities
talk
get the
about
best
it.
of me, man. Damn, I can't believe you guys did that to me, dude.
We're not cutting this.
Don't.
I'll be excited because each of his first 2 kids, he's gotten to time them right into football season. So now he'll be in it for real.
Yeah, I'm smart.
Yeah. Oh, no
I'm
question.
smart,
Yeah, no doubt.
And like I didn't even know I was being that smart until I think when I had Willow and somebody pulled me aside and was like, "Yo, you kind of did it right." I'm like, "What you mean?"
Yeah,
Like,
you
right
listen to the
before camp?
coaches, you listen to the players. You're like, yeah, that is the
That's
the math.
that's
there.
the move.
That's the method.
Yeah,
If you don't have a third,
Oh God.
these fucking. Oh, I shaved my head.
and your
I think
mustache.
I think if you don't have a third, you have to transition.
Ooh, that could be a fun vlog.
In this climate, you want to transition in this climate right now?
You'd be
If it was
bad
last
famous.
year, I'd be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
We can figure something out. I probably won't transition, but we can figure something out. I'll have a third, guys. Okay, I will. Don't tell my wife. Nobody tell my wife.
I just texted her. I said we got him. Here's the voice memo.
This episode never released.
We're not really. Yeah, like no one talk about this episode. We're just gonna surprise Taylor.
Silent download episode.
I do want to just. I know this is a complete insurance policy. My wife's incredible. She's amazing.
You were saying that
At
the whole
pregnancy.
time.
I know, but I feel like
That
the
was
way,
never the problem.
the way the air was leaving the building, I was like, "Holy shit!" I just don't want Taylor to be mad.
No,
You know
I
how to
think
run my
you're
household.
giving
You know
her
how to
much
run my
love. I think
household, man.
every
She's
person
hormonally mature. She won't be mad.
Yeah.
She's hormonally mature.
I think everybody listening out there, we understand the cross that the women have to bear in this whole thing. So it always feels a little slippery when we're trying to talk about our angle. I'm with you. You know, I try and pioneer the dad stuff all the time. Like, dad lives matter just as much. Like, we need safe spaces to talk as well. So it feels a little uncomfortable. I think that's what you were feeling.
I can't wait like 20 years from now when my kids are like, Dad, why did you decide to have me? And when it's going to be like, we didn't actually decide. It kind of just, you were such a beautiful surprise. And then Will's going to be like, you know, we all obviously didn't want just one kid. We're going to have two. And then my third kid's be like, Dad, why'd you have me? It's like, well, Daddy was bullied by his friends on a bus. Was bullied by his friends. Actually, let's go watch the film right now. This is why you were born, right here.
I used to do this podcast.
Yeah. I quit it.
But it could be a boy. I mean, you kind of answered.
It won't be a boy. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be a boy.
Oh, okay.
My dick, my balls cannot comprehend the idea of having a boy. Like, you know, when you see the videos on, it's like the European mind can't comprehend this, and there's like a dope football scene or whatever. My testicles cannot comprehend Y chromosomes. They can't fucking get it together.
It's a girl dad podcast.
They can't read.
They can't fucking read, dude. Exactly.
It's
Twin boys. That would be
Sick.
funny to imagine.
Dude, I went to jiu-jitsu class. I took Willow on Tuesday, and there was a mom there silently grinding by herself. But one of her kids was doing the class with Willow. She had two twin boys that were in the age of like 2 to 3, and she had to get up and leave after like 5 minutes. These little fuckers, and I was smiling the whole time, like, yo, that's beautiful, like, good for you. But these little guys were on the mat, fucking around with each other, throwing each other into the wall, face planting each other. The mom's like, guys, come on. And then none of the teachers say anything, but then the mom goes on the mat with the shoes on, and then one of the fucking senseis was like, hey, yelling at the mom, and she had to boogie out of there, go wait in the waiting room. It's kind of beautiful.
You bring up the can't reading. Like, I had a situation where we're driving, and Rue wants to pick the song on Spotify. Like, we're like, hey, what song do you want? She's like, I want to pick it. To where she was starting to get herself worked up, and I just had to stop, and I had to just turn around and look at her and go, Rue, you can't read. You can't, you're not able to scroll and pick the song. Like, what song do you want? But that was, we had a good laugh. Rue, sweetheart, you can't read.
Dude, we do this like guided meditation at bedtime.
She's like,
Win can read now. Win's about just as good as me, so she's on her way. But Willow, she can't read, and we do like guided meditations on Spotify. But she does the same thing. She wants to pick it, and she'll like look at one and be like, okay, what about this one? What does that one say? And I'll read it to her, and then she'll go back to look at it. It just adds the time so much where I'm like, I just want to kind of have me time.
Yeah.
So I'll just tell her, honey, don't worry about what the words say. Which one speaks to you? Which one in your brain are you
like that?
What speaks to you to be like, this is going to help me go to sleep?
Yeah.
And that really speeds the process up. That's a nice one. She feels more in touch with herself. We get a nice one going.
You hit and you start to hear it come on. You're like, oh my gosh, this is
a deep breath.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's a good one.
Yes.
What's this one called? Mermaids in the Underwater World. That's what we had last night. That's the one that spoke to her last night. It was beautiful, dude. Absolutely beautiful. Having kids is great.
Yeah.
Onward.
We got anything else? Should we rip the interview with Baldy? What do you think, Sherm?
Yeah, we have some fan questions if we want to go over it.
Let's do some fan questions. Let's do an ad read. And let's do some fan questions.
Ad read.
As you prepare to host game day celebrations, what are possible whole body odor related issues you may encounter that make you less confident in your hosting duties? Are you afraid of taking your shoes off when entering your friend's house? Getting nervous your team is down at halftime? Tackle whole body odor with Dove Men Plus Care Whole Body Deo. This whole body deo defends against all odor zones. That's pits, privates, and feet, people. And it's long-lasting 72-hour odor protection. Find Dove Men Whole Body Deo at Walmart today. Fan questions. The first fan question. Will Compton, what's going to happen to your museum at Barstool?
I don't know. I think Big Cat said he's trying to find other Will Comptons throughout the world, throughout the country, to just kind of add to it and not make it solely specified to Will Compton. But it's like whatever you do with it, it doesn't, like, that Will Compton museum's forever. You can even take it down, like, that's forever.
It'll live forever.
Because if they take it down, ultimately it's because of the split up, the separation, everything else. But we all know.
Love is still there.
Yeah, the love is still there.
Right.
The love is still there.
When is our independent merch going to be up and running?
That's a great question. One that I don't think we have answers to.
We don't have the answer, but we will have merch, and it will be independent, and it will be up and running.
Yeah.
TBD.
Yeah, TBD. Will there be a fire sale on our Barstool merch? Another great question. I'm not exactly sure how all of the transitioning and everything's going to be taking place. Great question for Garrett. If Garrett wants to grab the microphone and get us out of this. Are we going to be running a sale for the Barstool merch that we currently have, or ultimately just business wise and everything else, we have to buy back the inventory, give it away? I have no clue.
We haven't discussed that. That is actually a great idea. So hopefully we'll have an answer for you on that. That's a great idea.
We should go to
who
a
asked that
farmer's
question?
market.
I don't have it in front of me.
Well,
Shout out you guys.
Yeah.
we should do like a farmer's market type thing, like set up at a farmer's market, like Franklin's or Germantowns.
Yeah.
And
You just rip like
set up
60 to
shop.
70%
Will and
off.
Taylor slinging merch at the flea market?
slinging merch.
Yeah.
Will and Taylor or the boys in the back. What I mean, it's a brainstorm.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely
Brainstorm.
Hit a little
We'll
pop
probably
up.
we'll do the flea
a little
market
pop up
at
shop in
Taylor's
12
house.
South.
Yeah.
We do it at Taylor's house.
Nope, not going to do that. But we can definitely find a good place to do it. Maybe find a field somewhere. Leave clues around Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Maybe do
getting
a
creative.
scavenger hunt.
You know what I'm excited for?
Tell me.
Our wrist stream this Thursday.
Oh my God, dude. I am so excited.
And all the boys are coming in.
Right. So
Corey from Nashville.
let's give a little context. People know, the tier ones know about Risk, but there's some Baldinger fans walking in right now not knowing what you're
Yeah.
talking about. So lay it down. The year is 2020.
So Risk is a war strategy game
Okay.
where ultimately you have up to, what am I explaining the game Risk?
I hope people know the game Risk. I'm saying explain why this stream is happening.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
back during COVID when we were locked in our houses, Taylor was out in LA. All the boys, we'd get on and play video games. We play Rocket League, but our favorite was Risk. We probably played, 30 games of Risk, 40, 50 games of Risk.
A
We would
week.
stay up till like 3 a.m, damn near every night playing Risk. It was myself, Taylor Lewan, Corey Levin, Dennis Kelly, and Brad LeBrat. You can only have 5 in at a time or up to 5 players, and that would be our 5. And now what we're doing, fast forward to now, we're going to get the Risk stream, compete again, get all the boys back together for a Risk stream this Thursday.
Ticking.
It starts at 9 p.m. It'll be on YouTube.
Central Time.
And we're getting that same group together. Myself, Taylor, Corey, Dennis coming from, is he in Indianapolis?
And he's outside of Indianapolis.
And
but he's
Brad
in-
LeBrat driving, flying down from Banter, Missouri.
It's
We're
going to
getting
be
all
awesome,
the boys
dude. It's gonna be
together.
awesome. Dennis Kelly, you remember him from Tennessee Titans. He would come in. He had his multiple touchdowns. Corey Levin, longtime Tennessee Titan, bounced around a little bit. There's an argument we'll probably bring up at the stream. I saved his career. Myself, Will Compton, and then Will's autistic friend Brad. They are.
Whoa, shots at Brad.
Whoa, dude.
Love Brad.
He is the best. Brad is the best. We hated each other when we first met each other, but fucking love Brad, dude. Love him. Can't wait for him to get in. Best Rocket League partner I've ever had.
We will be, I'm looking to get a little banged up too. Get on some canned
Some
vitamins.
cans?
Yeah, some canned
I've
vitamins.
been on dry January, but I think I'll break it.
Well, dry January, it's not.
I know, but
Cans
dry
not
from
alcohol.
everything.
Oh, dry
Everything
from-
except nicotine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Everything except nicotine. Right? Some things you got to stand on, right?
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
stand on some stuff.
But I'm excited. I am so excited about that stream.
It's going to be so much fun to get the boys. My goal too for our stream is that we need to figure out a way to have a beer counter. And I want to count how many beers that Dennis Kelly drinks in one sitting. That is
Might
truly,
have to be
it's art.
teas, some tweez. Just have
Yeah,
Pound and Twisted
yeah, we'll do
teas.
tweez. We'll do tweez for Dennis Kelly. I've never seen a man put down as many beers. We had a sleepover at my house that one night.
Yep.
And it was you, me, Quentin Nelson, Dennis Kelly. Was Brad there? Brad?
Yeah.
And we all played games all night. And Dennis sat on this chair, did not move the whole entire time, not even to pee. Swear to God, 28 beers. Swear to God, 28 beers.
Dennis Kelly is your beer drinking old man who does not leave his chair and just pounds beers and
Pounds
just
beers.
deletes them.
Was he totally okay? Like
He was totally okay until
Yeah.
he wasn't. He's totally okay until he was asleep and snoring.
the perfect way to put
Yeah.
it. The perfect way to put it.
He's fault like when we've played Risk and he's up drinking late, he's put down so many, or he's okay until he's not, to where we ultimately start hearing him snore on the stream. We're like, Dennis, it's your move, and then you'll just hear.
And it's like, I guess we're done playing because we can't get him off the game.
Corey's falling asleep too.
Corey
hasn't he?
falls asleep too. It's
Yeah.
so funny, dude. It's so funny.
Because then when you're eliminated, like we'll make the person still like they'll still just sit there and watch and talk and chat and everything else, and they'll just fall asleep.
Yeah. It's so great, dude. It's such a fun time. It's going to be, have you started texting people yet?
No, I have not.
I figured you'd be the Jersey Jerry of the group to start texting people.
No,
Hey, we gotta team up a
dude,
little
I'm waiting
bit.
for the game, bro. Speaking of falling asleep, Jack McPherson fell asleep on last week's Back of the Bus stream with the boys.
Putting out great
It's pretty
content.
impressive. I mean, sleep streaming was trending on Twitter too after that. So Yeah, I mean, you have one bad minute. I will say, hand up accountability. Shouldn't fall asleep on stream.
Yep.
You have one bad minute. The rest of the 59 doesn't even matter for the rest of the day.
It's like an offensive lineman, dude. You can have a great game,
Yeah.
you have one sack, it's over.
It's over. So I will say, on a positive note, it was overwhelmingly positive chat saying, because we had a lot of fun ideas going around with blindfolded COD. A lot of blindfold ideas. Yeah, Marco Polo blindfolded. A lot of questions. Sherm was just shirtless, obviously, the whole time. But yeah, so hand up. It won't happen again, but it sucks. Huh?
It might happen again.
I mean, I'm going to fall asleep eventually at some point. But I mean, like on stream, hopefully not. But
You had a good run because you'd fall asleep when we'd hit the road, but you weren't falling asleep throughout the fall tour.
I know. I
Kind of caught up to you.
caught up to me finally, 2025. But yeah, hand up. It got to be better. So apologize to the fans, my family, ex-girlfriends. We'll be better.
What
We'll be back.
was any part of you like? How did he know, or how did he find out?
What, you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the clip wasn't out there yet.
No, I mean, I assumed one of the guys here probably texted it to you like a bunch of scumbags. So it was either JP or Sherm, and it was probably Sherm.
What about Jared?
Who was it?
I mean, Jared was the
I
snitch.
can't tell my sources. I can't tell my sources.
Then it had to have been JP.
Snitch
I can't tell my
It's
sources.
JP or Jared or Sherm. And
I texted
Sherm's
pretty much all.
reaction-
I was texting with pretty much all the boys. Maybe not Mitch throughout the weekend.
Will and I don't really text each other.
No, that's false because we were talking about the locker room.
Really, you text, and then I asked you what your best bet is, and you never responded.
I'm sorry, bro. Was that actually on the over the weekend, like, or was that last night?
I feel you.
Yesterday?
I have to remind Will to do ads multiple times, so we're it's all a work in progress.
Yeah, we're all working.
So who snitched?
Listen.
Give a hint.
I'm not at liberty to talk about
Because
what-
I know y'all weren't watching
Can't
our
give a hint.
stream. Like I know y'all don't watch our streams.
I noticed that Will comments on every stream we do and says the comments are popping off, and he's the only comment on all streams.
Like the actual comment under the video
Yes.
once it's published, because no one like comments on the actual stream. Like they comment in the live chat, but not
Yeah.
on the video itself. But yeah, it was fun. We definitely have something with blindfolded something.
Goated stream.
Yeah. So we'll be back stronger than ever, sleepier than ever.
Sleepier than ever.
Yeah, it was. That was a good call. Was that you? Or
I don't know. Was that me?
yeah.
Who was
Great
it?
job
G
by
that
Sherm right
did
there.
blindfolded COD? That was genius.
G and Coop.
That was genius.
Coop got a kill, right?
Coop got a kill blindfolded.
That's so awesome.
He went 1
It
and
would be
8
Coop, too.
blindfolded.
What's that?
I said it would be Coop also.
Oh yeah.
He just got that in.
He had a better KD than 2 guys on his team, and he was blindfolded. Let that sink in.
Also, just a little update on numbers. Our stream is 500 views away from topping y'all's 4-hour COD stream. So just want to
Nice.
throw that out there for the fans who stuck with us. So thank you. And we will be sleep streaming on Thursday night at 8 p.m. leading up into the wrist stream. So come tap in, read us a bedtime story.
Do you guys want to stream before our stream? We'll just
I mean,
transition your stream into.
That might be good because if y'all
That would
stream
be
ends
fun.
up going super late, it's like 3 a.m. I'm sure like a Friday, like I'll probably be asleep on Friday then, for another stream if we're up to
Well, we
like
also
3
have to
or
shoot
4
the other part of
a.m.
the locker room on Friday.
Yeah, so I mean we can figure it out. But yeah, we definitely will, whether it's Thursday or Friday, the back of the bus, we rise.
I love
The
it.
tier ones, we've got a solid little audience that tunes in now. It's not the biggest.
That's all you need.
It's not
It
the
doesn't matter.
mightiest,
That's all you
but
need, yeah.
man, are they strong.
God, I love
what do they
that.
tell you? If you build a core fan base, they will
That's
come.
all you need.
Joey Diaz. Joey Diaz says you only need 3 guys.
You build a core fan base. They will come.
They're very mean.
Why?
Mitch, they're very. Well,
very
hopefully
mean.
now they just go at Jack because he
I'm
fell
not
asleep.
shouting out anyone until I find out who snitched on me. So actually,
Bussin's case open.
it's one. You two or Jared has to be.
Watch it be Garrett, dude.
I mean, you're the one who fucked me basically.
Well, I decided to put stuff on you once the facts had.
I mean, it's my fault. So at the end of the day, accountability. Check out the wrist stream and possibly
his
our
accountability
stream.
is so funny.
Accountability.
What? I'm not a quarterback.
I'm not. I did throw 50
Oh.
yards though in Denver, so you're
Um,
spin.
Real quick, dude, this next sponsor we have is awesome. MTV. For the first time ever, the Challenge All-Star is coming exclusively to MTV, but this time with a major twist. 13 All-Star pairs of rivals will need to work together to win together, and MTV's The Challenge All-Star Rivals. That's right, 13 of the bitterest All-Star pairs of rivalries in Challenge history are going to get along together if they want to win the title of All-Stars champion. We're talking exes, frenemies, and all-time worst enemy partnering up, including challenge favorites like Nanny and Turbo and Anzia,
Read the parentheses.
Anissa, and Ashley M, and Leroy and Devin. No other season has so much tension, drama, or bad blood, because the best chance for all of these all-stars to come out on top is to live and die by their rival. This might just be the most challenging all-star season yet. Think you could make it work with your worst enemy? Scroll down, please. Don't miss MTV's The Challenge All-Star Rivals, all new Wednesday at 8 p.m., 7 Central. Watch on MTV. Dude, MTV, that's so sick.
Enjoy Baldy.
They love him in Minnesota. Like, I know he had 2 bad games at the end, but he had 14 great games. Yeah. So, no, but if you put that line in that run game.
If you want to come on the bus.
Oh, no, y'all go. I just was just picking his brain. You know how it goes, man. Yeah, I go. Yeah. Nah, I got to go meet my cabinet guys. They putting the cabinets in. Shit moving fast.
Let's go, dude.
That sounds like a really tough Monday, Delaney. Like putting those cabinets in, man. That's a stressful Monday. But that's what happens when you play 14 years and you look like that, and like you won the game. You could put cabinets in on Monday.
You won the game.
You won the game, bro. I honestly, all I hope for every player is that you get a career, you come out healthy, reasonably healthy, and you can transition to do something else.
You got to say that on the bus. We got to stop talking.
Yeah. Oh, really? Sorry. You want this shit?
Hell yeah.
Have a good show.
It's just conversation.
Oh, okay. Whose idea was the bus?
The podcast idea was Will's idea.
What was it? From on a bus though? Was that? Did you have that?
The bus idea. Taylor wanted the bus with the production crew that we were working with at the very beginning, when they were contracted out. We had like a meeting to sit down and talk about like what it can look like and everything else. And they brought up, they're like, "Hey, what about this bus in the back?"
Yeah.
That's
we rolling.
behind everything.
Mitch, we rolling? All right, good. No, that's great.
Because one of the things I wanted to see run by you guys was like I always loved the Madden bus.
Uh-huh.
You know, but what if we put a bus together for training camp tour, and we just did like a 3-week tour, and we just did this, and we just bring a guy in from the team, like 2 or 3 guys, like before practice, after practice, and just shot the shit with them right in the bus.
Love the idea.
Get a sponsor. Get a sponsor. Like we're rolling on the bus, man.
Yeah.
We're
called Grit Week.
Huh?
We call it Grit Week.
That's a nice original idea.
You like that idea?
I do.
Where'd that come from? Grit Week.
That's Will's brain.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No.
Pardon My Take. Have you been on Pardon My Take?
Yeah, I have.
With Big Cat and the Boys?
Yeah, I
and
love
PFT?
those guys. Yeah, they're great.
PFT's down bad right now. Washington.
You just see his face. Yeah. Because I texted him last week when they were playing the Lions, and it was pretty much done. I was like, "Hey, congratulations!" He goes, "A lot of ball left." It was like 5 left in the fourth. It's like, brother, it's over.
Yeah,
it is over. And you got to see his face sit next to Roan in that game. Tough.
Yeah. Now, if you were to do something like that, you got to do it within the confinements of the NFL network.
No,
or are you able to do it?
I'd still do my NFL duties, training camp things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I try to go to as many camps as I can because that's when you meet the new guys. Like that's when I met, everybody, Jaden Daniels and everybody in Washington last year. But no, I'd like to go face to face and meet these guys. So I could do my NFL stuff and combine it with everything else.
Really?
Yeah.
Seems like you have like a nice contract with the NFL. You're able to do your own thing also outside of them.
Well, like, in this world, like, you gotta look out for yourself. There's all these networks are dying, right? So, they're cutting people left and right. You got to like figure out what you're going to do. Keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Create your own. You got to create your own gig.
Yeah. Did you ever struggle when you retired on what you wanted to do next? It's something we kind of talk to every ex-player, whether it be coach.
You know what's funny about that? Well, I came from a family of 3 brothers. Like, so we all played, right? So I played 12 years. My brother Rich played 12. My brother Gary played like 7 or 8. So when I got done, I tried to play one more year, right? I couldn't pass the physical. I had before like the sports hernia thing became kind of well known. Nobody knew what it was.
Yep.
So like they kind of misdiagnosed it and they lost an off season.
What'd they say it was?
They said it was a groin pull. I'm like, I know what a groin pull is.
Because I had a sport hernia.
So you go to Philly, you get it done. Dr. Myers does it in Philly.
I went to Germany.
You did?
Because, with Dr. Myers, I mean, you'll be familiar since you've had this sport hernia, but Dr. Myers in Philly, they would use the mesh. They would build around the mesh. In Germany, they had this doc over there that would just knock out tens of soccer players, maybe 100 soccer players a day, just in and out. They walk out of surgery, but she uses your own tissue. So I went over there to Germany and fixed my sport hernia, and I walked like cathedrals. Like I think I put in like 3 miles that day after walking out of the surgery.
Yeah.
I was running on the Alter G at 70-80%, like 9 days after.
Did you do
surgery.
it during the season?
Right after. Oh no, I did it in between the season and pro day.
Oh,
so it was my
college.
senior year of college. Yeah.
Oh wow.
But Nebraska would send people over to Germany and not do, because they did also Dr. Mars, but a couple guys had some issues with the mesh plate that would happen.
You didn't really have any injuries at all in the NFL, right? It was all college.
It was all college. I had several in college. I had my labrum. I had 12 anchors on my labrum. I broke my foot. I was apparently born with like an extra perineal tendon in my ankle, so I had to get that removed. How did sport hernia surgery?
I know this is about Baldy, but like with the extra tendon in your foot, like what was that? That didn't add to anything? That didn't help you out more?
You would think so, but I guess I got the opposite effect of it.
No shit.
Yeah, because I would, I'm like joking around the locker room. I'm like, well, fuck it. I didn't benefit from the extra muscles or tendons like you guys get.
Yeah, exactly.
I like plant wrong and it would just fire up and I would be out like for just a full series, but in bizarre pain. But after like 10 minutes go by, I'd be back to normal.
Similar to a stinger? Was it that type of pain? Because a stinger is one of those things where you're like, you get it and you're like, holy shit, I might be paralyzed.
Like a pinch
and then like a minute later you're fine.
Like a pinch sharp pain, like something happened. But then after 10 minutes, I'd be good to go out there. But then they went in with an MRI and they're like, hey, you have an extra perineal tendon in your ankle. So we gotta get that right. They're like, it's creating like a sandpaper effect where all the tendons are rubbing against each other. So
and then that was easy surgery. They just removed it, stitched it up real quick, and you were fine.
Well, it was probably a 3-4 month recovery process.
Yeah.
So it was one of those like postseason major ones. I think it's like 4 months are like the major ones. Like you have labrum, you got ACL, which is like 6 to
9 months.
Yeah. What was your worst injury?
I had I had 13 surgeries. But
13 surgeries?
13 surgeries. But I mean, after football too, because
tell us about
you guys
all of
are
them.
young. You guys are young. So like you guys, like for example, like I had the sports hernia, right? So Dr. Myers of Philly did mine. But when I was in Philly at the time, it kind of ended my thing. But I remember I was kicking a soccer ball with like one of my goddaughters, right? And I'm like at the beach kicking soccer ball, and I missed the ball and it hit the sand, and I freaking tore a sports hernia thing. I had to go back and get a surgery.
No shit.
Stupid shit. Like so those kind of things. I remember I had this girlfriend, she was training for a triathlon. I'm like, I'll do that. It's pussy work. I'll go running with her. Next thing I know, like I break my metatarsal and I tear a metatarsal running on the cement. Then I tear my next one. Like they said, if you don't get this thing fixed, you're going to rip every single metatarsal. They're all going to snap. And I'm like, oh, fuck, maybe that's the thing of like getting old or something, like the bones just are brittle or something. So I had to get that surgically repaired and fused and all that kind of stuff. That sucked.
So you off the field.
Yeah,
you're a menace off the field.
Yeah. I remember one time we were, like if you go like out on the lake and you get on one of those inner tubes.
Yeah.
So our left tackle in Dallas was this guy, Mark Tooney. And these Polynesian guys, they never get hurt, right?
No.
They can play the game barefoot. They're built different, right? So we're out there inner tubing like a week before training camp one year. And like we're freaking hitting high speeds. And his leg catches like some wave hanging out and it freaking tears his medial collateral ligament. Like he's out. Like our coach went ballistic, like no more inner tube, rules and stuff like that. But I had the basic stuff, like just.
You can't hold on. You can't look at your right hand, ignore it, and then look back at your left hand.
Hey, say that. I had the basic stuff.
I mean, that thing's taking a hard right turn.
Yeah, that's pretty common injury. Like it just doesn't get repaired. Like
no, hold on. So. The first time I remember we did one of your Baldy breakdowns at the Pro Bowl one year.
Yeah.
And I'm walking in. I wasn't familiar with your game at that point, and they were like, "Hey, Brian Baldinger, blah blah blah. He's got the finger.
Don't look at his pinky."
That was the thing. I was like, "He's got the finger. And I'm like, "What are they talking about the finger?" And you came out and shook my hand. I could feel like a little, like that scary movie where like this is my strong hand. Like you had that kind of thing going on. So how did you get it, and why in God's earth have you not just put a pin in that thing and fixed it?
So it happened at training camp one year, and just doing inside drills. I had Randy White was our Pro Bowl, all pro tackle, and I had a grip on him, right, and my finger got caught in his jersey, and it ripped.
It looks like a dew claw from a dog.
It was just dangling, right? So I'm freaking screaming, right? Like fuck, like I'm looking at it, I'm screaming more because it didn't hurt that bad, but it was just dangling like that. So they go over and they tape it up and they put it back. So I go back in. So anyways, like the morning practice ends. And the whole defensive line in Dallas used to sit in the front row of the cafeteria and just ruin everybody that came down the stairs into the cafeteria. So when I came in that day after practice, like I'm coming down the cafeteria to go to lunch, and the whole defensive line they just start crying. Wah, wah, like Baldy, like, you got hurt. Wow. Everybody's just like imitating me whining on the field. Mm-hmm. And then they all stood up and they all put their hands up and they're like, join the club. And they all had fucked up fingers. So I was like, wow, I'm part of the club now, man.
Yeah.
That was a good thing. I was a young player and everything. So I felt like I was, it's my man card right there.
Yeah. It's like you sit in a room with Baldy. It's like, hey, are we going to talk about the pinky in the room?
Yeah. Yeah.
It comes around.
It was like, and that's hilarious that you didn't know. Like, I remember being young and just watching Baldy on TV, and it's, you just couldn't miss it. Yeah. You're just, it's so bizarre that even you start to think in your own head, like, does he realize how bad this is?
There's a lot of guys that
breaks
bad.
it down.
Munoz has one like this,
Mm-hmm.
So like you see Anthony, he's got one. So like it's an official bad pinky club. Like there's a lot of people that are in that club.
Yeah, like I've got this finger right here, and then this thumb. I got the UCL that's torn off. I just didn't get it fixed.
Yeah,
but like that thing's like that's a straggler. They say no man left behind.
They tried to
maybe
fix
think about
it one year, right? And they said okay. They went and they put a splint on it and they did a little surgery on it, the whole thing. And they said don't do anything for like 6 weeks. Just let it set. So, like 3 days later, I'm playing basketball and the ball freaking hits my finger. The splint flies off and it goes right back. I'm like, I'm done.
That's it.
That's it.
What about now? Have you ever thought, it's kind of like Michael Strahan, the way he has the gap in his teeth. He gets the gap fixed. He's like, I have the gap back.
Like people know me because they don't know shit about anything I did in the NFL.
Yeah.
Or maybe they know some things from Baldy's Breakdowns, but they know the finger.
Yeah.
Like they want their picture taken with the finger.
Yeah, I mean that pinky has ass on it.
Yeah.
I can't get any change out of my pocket, Will.
No
it just
doubt.
falls right through.
Yeah.
Tries to put his hand in his pocket. Always has to call. Fuck.
Will you make a fist for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing just fighting the good fight every day.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Of all the injuries, what was your worst injury you ever had?
I think just your basic ACL.
Yeah.
Back then, though, I had my ACL done in college.
Your basic ACL.
So back then, now, like you literally, they have you working out as soon as you come out of surgery now with these ACLs, right?
Yeah, if it's isolated, yeah.
So, they put you in some kind of a splint or whatever. Like I was in a cast from my hip to my toe for 6 months. So my whole leg just atrophied. Like it was embarrassing. Like I was like still thinking I was an offensive lineman and I had like this stick figure of the leg.
Yeah.
It took so long for that thing to come back.
He's got my legs now.
Yeah,
That's what he's got.
Stick figure of legs. Oh,
isn't it crazy that they put you in a cast and they put you at like a 10-degree angle, correct?
Yeah.
And now that's like the thing they're like, hey, we need to get full extension and full flexion as fast as possible. That's everything everyone's working on all the time with the ACL.
Yeah.
Dude, when you saw that transition, we were like, man, they kind of fucked me then.
No,
well, obviously because medicine wasn't where it needed to be.
The thing is that like I didn't know anything back then. Like nobody knew anything, and I was at Duke, and I kind of knew the doctor that was doing it. I came into the surgery, the guy's smoking a cigarette, and I'm looking up, and I'm just ready to take the gas to go out, and I see these ashes of a cigarette. I'm like, did these fucking ashes fall in this knee? Like I'm really fucked. But back then
that is crazy.
Yeah, like smoking right there outside the operating room. But the good thing was I never had another issue with the knee. Like I never had it re-injured or anything like that. They fixed it. Like, it got like a little arthritic, now, but for the most part, like it has never given me another bit of problem.
Wow.
The rest of my career.
I'm jealous.
What do you think when you look at the game now and all the benefits that guys have and no more 2-a-days? You're part of like probably that 3-day.
I'd get a part-time job right now. I'd be doing Bussin with the boys after practice.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like it's, I guess it's all for the good, but training camp was a matter of survival. Like when I came to Dallas, we had 110 free agents and we had 15 draft picks. So we had 125 rookies. So every day after practice, all the rookies would scrimmage. And so that's when we got
full
our
pads,
full pads scrimmage. We had full pads every single day, like morning and afternoon. And then we did conditioning. So like literally guys would quit. They were like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done.
Like the Navy SEALs, you had a bell in the corner. You just got to ring it 3 times and you're out.
And the
Like,
money back
guys would
then,
walk
too.
out there and like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. They just fucking walk back in, turn the pads in, and leave. That was it. So it was like survival of the fittest. So I was like, my rookie year, I was the only free agent that made it. But like it was just survival. And so that was kind of cool. To be able to like beat all these draft picks out back in the early days.
Yeah.
But the only way you could do it is by like competing every day like that. So now it's it's a lot different. I think you could play a lot longer now.
I mean,
You
being
still play 12 years.
Yeah, an undrafted cat and being the only undrafted guy to kind of make the team. Well, like, what was your first paycheck? What was the money back
So
then
here's
for an
here's
undrafted
the
guy?
contract. So I'm at Duke, and the draft. I had a brother that came out the same year, right? So my brother was drafted in the 10th round out of Wake Forest by the Giants.
10th round.
10th round. Okay, it was 12 rounds back then. This is 1982. So my brother gets drafted, and I don't get a phone. I don't get drafted. I'm like, that's my younger brother. Like, he's the lazy piece of shit. Like, he got drafted in the 10th round. The guy fucking like slept all summer long. Like, he gets drafted. I'm like, what's that say about me, right? So, anyways, the Cowboys called me up and they want to sign me as a free agent, right? So like, I go, okay. So this guy Buck Buchanan calls me up. So I thought Buck Buchanan was like the Hall of Fame. Buck Buchanan is going to come and get. So I'm thinking some Hall of Famers coming to sign me. Buck Buchanan is the equipment manager for the Cowboys. And like they had so many guys they wanted to sign. They'd send secretaries, equipment managers, trainers. They'd send everybody out to sign these contracts. So they send this guy out there, and I'm still taking my finals. So I kind of meet the guy. Nice guy, retired Air Force colonel. His son is still the equipment manager for the Cowboys now. So he offers me a contract, 3-year deal, $32,000, $34,000, and $36,000. All right. So the signing bonus was $500. So I had a Plymouth Fury, but it didn't have any brakes. I needed to get the brakes fixed to drive home. So I said, I need at least enough money to get my brakes fixed. Can we get $1,000? Well, I ended up talking him up to $1,200. So I got $1,200 and $32,000.
And the equipment manager is the one doing the negotiation. Yeah.
No,
I guess we'll give him $700 more dollars.
He's calling me on the phone. He's calling me collect to the Cowboys on my one phone in the kitchen, in the apartment, and he's calling the Cowboys to see if he could give me the $1,200. So I got the $1,200 out of him. So I felt like I kind of pinched him pretty good. Yeah. So I got that. But that year we went on strike. So they paid you per game. So we only played 9 games that year. So I only made $18,000. But we went to the playoffs. And I made some money in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. What were playoff checks like back then?
So I made that year, Taylor. We won the first round, second round. So we played 3 rounds. I made $34,000. We lost to the Redskins in the championship game. Yeah.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room: erectile dysfunction. 1 in 4 men 18 years and older experience ED, which means that you or someone close to you might be experiencing it as well. Your boy struggles getting the boy up every now and then. That is why I want to tell you about this new ED treatment gel, Eroxon. It's the first ED treatment gel with clinically proven results that you can get over the counter. And while it may not work for everyone, studies showed success in over 60% of men. The best part, no prescriptions or online questionnaires needed. Why wait? Try Eroxon today. Available in stores and online. Visit eroxon.us to learn more. That's EROXON.us to learn more. Back to the episode.
Was that Russ Grimm's Redskins?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
God.
That was the Hogs.
The Hogs,
man.
Hogs, man.
That was their first championship, 82.
Really?
They beat the Dolphins in the Super Bowl.
I always knew about the Hogs, but I never like fully understood all the players, everything until Russ Grimm in 2016 came to the Titans.
Yep.
The greatest coach I've ever had in my entire life.
Really?
He was amazing. He does an incredible job of the coach I had before, Bob Bostad. He was a Wisconsin guy. I think he was a linebacker at Wisconsin, or linebackers coach. Ends up being the offensive line coach under Ken Wisenhunt. He's all right, but he's very much devil's in the details type of guy. You got to know your job, everybody's job, running back's job, wide receivers, tight ends.
You're up at the board.
You need to own everything.
Okay.
And it was like, holy shit, I'm in the NFL.
Right.
So I'm in this kind of overthinking category of every single play. I'm not only thinking about my job of just getting the end or double teaming.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what's the tight end got to do, all of these things. As soon as Russ Grimm comes in, he goes, hey, talk to me about stutter. Stutter is the open side power.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, okay, if I have a man on me, then I step inside. If he comes, he's like, whoa. Deuce to the mic or man. That's it. That's all you got.
Got it.
And because of him,
he simplified everything.
He simplified things for me so much to where once I knew the playbook, 3 weeks in, I got bored and started learning about other players and what they were learning because like he simplified things so much and allowed us all to play so much faster.
I always think that's a great sign of coaching.
Yeah.
At anything. And I don't care what it is.
Mm.
Like even if you're learning TV, like I had to learn TV, going to the NFL Network and Fox Sports and everything. Even if you're learning all that stuff, like there's certain basic skills. But like honestly, like once you get it, like you got it. Like there's nothing else to really learn. You just perfect it.
Yeah.
I feel like what you just said about Grimm is great.
Dude, we would go into individual drills and it was like just a fuck around session always. He would put these bags up. He's like, all right, you're going to sprint here after warm ups. You're going to run past the bags. And then he would get bored with it. And we get a guy like Jack Conklin, who was just like great football player, but like had zero hand-eye coordination. And he'd be like, Jack, how many bags do you think you could leap over at one time? And we just like get 5 bags out and Jack would go and look like he just tore every ligament in his leg. And we all laugh. Like he was the best. He was a coach that like, when you got to game day, like you wanted to play for the boys, like he was so much about these 5 guys are your family. And like, that was like your dad. And you're like, I just want to make this guy proud.
I feel like the most important coach in every single football team is the offensive line coach. And either they get that and they get that fraternity and that's how they play. That's how the Eagles are with Stoutland. Like, and they're like that with Andy Heck in Kansas City too. But like, I feel like that's the core of the team.
Right.
If the quarterback walks out with the offensive line, you probably are in a pretty good position.
Yeah.
Like you see Josh Allen's with his guys all the time. Go to training camp up there, he's hanging with the boys. Like he walks on the field with Deion Dawkins. They're cutting it up with each other. I feel like I just look for certain things like that.
You see the dynamic between the two coaches, but a lot of times nowadays, because of the stories you're saying about you have 2 practices, a scrimmage, then conditioning, all these things. A lot of these younger coaches look at these 80s and 90s and be like, we got to get back to toughness. And when no one really has to go through it anymore. Did you have coaches that were just hard asses the whole time? Or did you have those coaches that were like, hey, let's have a couple beers after this thing?
Well, we always did that.
Yeah.
We were responsible.
I feel like, the beers in the locker room.
Beers and ping pong were a staple every training camp.
Yeah.
We always had that. In fact, it was almost like, okay, let's not drink any water during practice so that our first beer, we get a great buzz. And then by the third beer, the meetings, we're going to just fly through the meetings.
Living the
we're
dream
going to have a great
out
time
there.
in the meeting. We're just going to laugh through every single time they bitch at us about this technique.
Science really fucks a whole lot of things up. Once you start learning that water is good for you, don't eat the cheese.
Let's not drink any water during 2-a-days
Just
today.
hey, let's dehydrate
So that
ourselves.
first cold beer.
Yes.
He's talking
nice
about
buzz.
camp being about survival and then pivots too, but we tried not to drink water so the beer hit a little bit harder when we got done. That is awesome.
Were the coaches in on that with you guys? What were the fraternities like on the teams you were on?
Well, Ernie Stautner was, defensive line coach. So, Ernie came out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was a defensive line coach, just, an old, like he invented the head slap. So like he would play racquetball. He couldn't grip the racket. It was just like dangling in his hand, but like it might fly out and hit you when you played him, But, like it was just that even the coaches were like part of the old school, their drinking habits and party habits.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
There's something about coaches getting together and just getting after it with all the boys. That's another thing Russ did too after games.
Well, he came from the shed.
Yeah.
So they had the shed with the Redskins back then. Practice ended, they went to the shed.
Yeah.
That's where they went. No quarterbacks were allowed. The Heisman wasn't allowed in there. The
That's
boys went
awesome.
back there and they cut it up.
It would with Minuski and Jim Tomsula in training camp when they were the coordinator and the D-line coach there. After practice, they'd always be back in the equipment room. There'd be a couple guys they'd invite and they'd be like, here, have a beer.
Yeah.
And
Just
a dip.
sit down and talk.
Tomsula, he had a dip.
He'd have. I mean, he's
one of my favorite coaches of all time.
Unbuttoned. He's got the chain going on. He talks about investing. He's like, hey, you want to invest? Just take money out of your pockets, fold it, and you just doubled your money. Yeah. He's so funny, bro. You got to work with Tomsula?
So what happened was they had this league. You talk about like how I got to where I'm at. I went to work at Fox, but before I started doing games at Fox, I did NFL Europe. So Tomsula was coaching in London. So I'm over in London, and I'm with Bill Moss and a couple guys, right? And we're like, where can we go to watch film? Like, let's at least have an idea of what we're talking about here. So they said, hey, they got a coach over for the London Monarchs, like named Tomsula. He's watching film all the time. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go find him. So I didn't know the guy. So I take the train down to South London. They're at I forget the name of the place they're at, but anyways, I hear this. I hear this spit. I'm like, who the fuck is? So it's Tomsula spitting and he's got the projector and he's going. So I'm like, hey, coach, I'm Brian Baldinger, blah, blah, it's Bill Moss. So we go over and we sit down, we start watching film with Tomsula. And like, the guy is just a guy's guy, everything, and I fell in love with that guy and we stayed best friends.
He's one of the best, man. I only got to play with him for a year. That's that for a year. But you can just tell the way that they would have the defense work is the linebackers and the D-line would watch film together.
Yeah.
So that way, if a D-line fucked over somebody on the second level or a linebacker shot a gap without, and that wasn't their responsibility, he would have, like, say the D-lineman, hey, turn around the comp and just let him know fuck you because that's what you're doing to him on this play.
Oh, yeah.
He's just he's about it. And
he just loved teaching. He loved teaching. He was a teacher.
Yeah.
He was a great teacher, man. And all he wanted to do is see you succeed.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about him.
He would say his vacation. So he's like, hey, you ever want to do like the private yacht stuff? He's like, you go find one of these billionaires down in the Keys or Florida. And whenever they go take a trip overseas, you just ask if you can ride along with them because they go out and then they'll go into Italy or Europe or whatever and they'll do their family vacation. Then you'll have the boat. You'll sit there and pay them $10,000 so you can take the boat out with the kids. He's like, that's how you fucking do vacations.
Just playing games.
Yeah, he's like, they're spending so much more money to go over there.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, you don't have to be Jeff Bezos. You just tag along, say, hey, can we borrow the boat for $10,000? It's just going to stay docked the whole time. We'll take it out while you guys go have fun. He's a legend, bro. You would love Tom.
Sounds like it, dude. He sounds like an awesome guy.
Yeah, he is. He is. You also, when you were coming out, you were a good basketball player.
Yeah, man. I was hooping. Like, did you play basketball growing up?
Third grade, I was at the YMCA, man. I was a bit of a shooter.
Okay, all right.
Third grade, I was one of the only kids putting down threes. But no, really wasn't a basketball player.
I grew up in New York, man, and I played basketball every day. Even even for conditioning for football, all I did was play basketball. I played basketball in the off season, until my knees weren't any good. But like, I mean, 1 year in Dallas, we had an off season basketball team. We go play all these charity games all over the country, really. We played 48 games 1 year. I made more money playing basketball than I did playing football.
No shit.
Just in the off season going
just
around.
off season because they paid us. Like one time we played the Harlem Globetrotters in Iowa, and we played two games. We played at 7 and we played at 9. So we're playing in Fort Dodge, Iowa, right? And the gym is packed, right? So it's like 5,000 people. So we finish the game. The Globetrotters come back. It's all cash. So they're literally paying, like they're counting all the money, right? And so here's your 600. Here's your 600. We all got our money. We go out and we play the second game, another 600. So we made 1,200. Then we went out and partied our asses off in Fort Dodge, Iowa, until they turned the lights off wherever we were. Then we went to the next game. It was great.
How did you get put in a position to play against the Globetrotters?
Baldy, you're a legend.
No, but like Drew Pearson was our wide receiver, and he knew somebody on the Globetrotters. Just however he made it work, he made it happen. But listen to this. So this is wild. You're talking about the Redskins. So Drew put together this tour, like you talk about the bus here. We had a barnstorming tour, the Cowboys and Redskins, right? So we rented a yellow school bus. We picked up 12 Redskins at the DFW airport and 12 Cowboys, and we bussed through the state of Texas. Amarillo, Lubbock, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas. We played 6 games in 7 nights. Just barnstorming. And we're enemies, but we're selling out every single arena. Like they had this guy, Curtis Jordan, who played at Texas Tech. So he had a bar in Lubbock. So we all went to his bar after the game. Like it was so much fun back then, man.
Yo, that's fucking wild.
It's wild.
Why is that not talked about more?
I don't know. But then we returned the favor and we went to DC and we played in Hampton. We played before a whatever what the Bullet game was, whatever they were called back then, the Capitals, whatever. And we played in front of like a live NBA audience, and we were the pregame warm up for them. And after we finished our game, everybody left the arena. Like they didn't even care about the Washington basketball team.
No shit.
So we were in, Ron Springs was from this little town of Williamsburg, Virginia. He lived on a dirt road. And literally we all came over to his house. Boss Hogg, his dad, was cooking chitlins. We're in his house, dirt road. And literally there was 50 kids running through the house. There's 22 basketball players there. And they're cooking for us, barbecuing. We just sat there drinking beers and telling stories like in that house. It was freaking awesome.
No, this guy goes by Boss Hogg.
Well, Ron Springs' dad was
Ron
the Boss
Springs
Hogg. Yeah,
was the Boss
Hogg.
Hogg.
He was like Ron was always like the comedian of our team in Dallas, but his dad was funnier. He was like Red Skelt. He was like, like he's just a classic comedian.
Yeah.
You know, and just old school, man.
And your teams never care that you guys are traveling the country playing basketball.
Well, you talking about doing inner tubes when one guy tears his knee and the team gets their ass ripped. It's like that happens now. Like your contract is void. You're done playing.
They're looking for a reason not to pay you now.
Yeah, so much more red tape.
Yeah. No, but that was like, you know, we just had so much fun back then, you know, 'cause we did everything as a team, you know? And so like, I remember when I was a rookie on the basketball team, because I was like the rookie and everything, and I loved basketball, I would get an extra $150 just to go to find a washing machine or whatever, or clean, and just get all the uniforms cleaned, get them ready for the next day. So I'd make an extra.
So you were the equipment guy.
I was the equipment guy, man.
So you were out there grinding for a little extra cash.
Baldy's a hustler.
Yeah, I was hustling, man.
Yeah. Did you ever want to like? Was basketball ever over football for you? Were you ever like, man, basketball might be
I went
it?
to I kind of a screwed up college thing. I went to Naval Academy because my dad went there, and I was going to play basketball at the Naval Academy. It just didn't work out, so I ended up going to Duke, and they were like the best team in the country. But we would play against all the varsity guys. Like I was a good player. I think I could have played like decent Division II level.
Yeah,
you know, like that level. But that's what we all played basketball back then. Like in the off season, either you're a basketball player or you're a racquetball player. You know, in the off season.
Were you a scholarship guy in football in college?
No, I walked on. Well, I got the academy thing didn't work out, so I went to a junior college for a year, and then I played basketball in junior college, and I was recruited to play football and basketball, and I just went up to Duke on a.
And in your mind, you're just like, if I'm going to have a future, it's probably going to be more so in football than basketball, because it seems like you love basketball.
I love basketball, but I remember this. Like I didn't even think about playing pro football when I was young, but I remember I went to this junior college, and this guy Kurt Sohn was a year older than me, and ended up making the Jets. He went to Fordham after Nassau Community College, and he ended up making it in the NFL for like 8 years. But he told me early on, he said, you know, if you play high school football, you might as well try to play college football. If you play college football, you might as well try to play pro football. So I always had that in my head, like, oh, it's just like that. Just go to the next level.
Just might as well go do something. Might as well do what 1% of the world can do.
Yeah.
Fucking, why not just give it a go?
Yeah, give it a go.
All the kids out there, listen, if you're playing high school, you might as well go play college, and then you might as well play NFL.
I remember this one time. So Dallas treated everybody first class. They were an unbelievable organization. Like they fly me. I'm from New York. We're going to training camp at Thousand Oaks, California. So they fly you on Pan Am first class from JFK. Pan Am first class, JFK to LAX. Right. So I'm in first class. I eat the whole time. Like I'm like every single Sunday dessert. I'm taking that. Like I'll take that lunch.
Every time the stewardess walks by, you're like, ma'am, let me get one of them.
I'm like plus 10 pounds by the time I get off the plane. So I get off the plane and they can't find my luggage. So I'm like, fuck that. I'm wearing the same thing every day. If I get my luggage, I don't care. I'm not unpacking it. Yeah. I wore the same clothes for the whole 6 weeks. Like I said, fuck it. I don't care about my luggage.
Grungy.
Yeah. I just said, you know what? There's an omen. Like I'm not changing my clothes or unpacking my bags till they kick me out of here.
How long did it take your teammates to realize, oh, this man hasn't changed in 2 weeks?
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
They had a thing for me, but it was fun. Like it was just, like then, like I went against Randy, like you talk about Russ Grimm. So Russ Grimm was left guard for the Redskins. So he went against Randy White. Like that was just a Pro Bowl battle every single time they played each other. But, like I went against Randy White in a card drill every day. And so
explain the card drill.
What is the card drill?
So card drill is like literally you're a dummy squad and you're running 16 zone plays right at the starting defensive line. And then the second team defensive line comes in and you run 16 drills right off the card. So inside zone, power, you're running these basic plays right at the defensive line. So like, Randy White was like the best defensive tackle in football. And he's just kicking my ass. So I'm like, one of these days I'm going to beat this fucker. Like I'm just going to beat him. So I remember the first time I actually stoned him one-on-one pass blocking. And I was so happy. I was like, if my pro football career ends today, I blocked Randy White. I went out and drank a bottle of tequila that night. Like I thought that was the best. That was the highlight of my football career right there. I blocked Randy White one-on-one.
God damn.
I was getting better.
Is that Randy White?
Mm-hmm.
The crop top. The crop top is incredible.
Half man, half monster.
So you would have to, on these card drills where you're doing the dummy cards, you'd have to do 32 plays in a row?
Yeah, 32 plays in a row.
Man, it's so funny the
Taylor,
way you talk.
We're such pussies,
bro. Dude. We're fucking pussies. Because essentially what you're talking about is 9-on-7 drill.
Yes,
you're talking about 9-on-7.
Yep.
We would have 6 plays in a row.
Yeah,
6. You said I heard you just whisper 10. It was 6. It definitely was always in the single digits. Yeah. And by that 6th play, you're like, God damn, like get me out of here.
Yeah.
This is so brutal. Like waiting for a 2 to come in, someone to give you a little bit of a spell for a second. But you're talking about 36 plays in a row. It's crazy.
We didn't know any better. We just didn't know any better. You know,
but you still are tired. Like,
these bastards are talking about not drinking water so they can get buzzed.
Yeah, so we have a nice little buzz.
Yeah. We had all the tricks.
Were you guys running like at the NFL that time? Were you guys running like bull in the ring?
We didn't do bull in the ring. We didn't do that. But we had Oklahoma drills forever. Like you know, you line up and those, you know, it was just you and an offense lineman back and a line. You know, like we ran those things like right at each other for a 20-minute drill. Every drill was full contact.
And concussions weren't really a thing back then either, was it?
I didn't even know what a concussion was. There's training camp. But like, you remember those days you'd come back to the huddle and you'd see double? You'd see 2 of everything? Yeah. Like I thought that might be a concussion, but I wasn't sure because it eventually would clear up. And it was all of a sudden like, oh, I can see Taylor right here.
Yeah.
I would see 2 of you.
That
Pop enough Tylenol before practice.
I took all those smelling salts all the time.
How great are the smelling salts?
I love smelling salts.
One of the greatest
I'm surprised
inventions.
you don't have them right here.
We should. There's actually, you can get the jars where you open them up, take a nice little huff before.
Yeah.
Because that stuff is all time.
We always did that when we were doing like our, trying to get our maxes in lifting and everything.
Oh, yeah.
We always did the smelling salts.
Guys slapping you on the back and stuff like that.
All that.
Couldn't stand the slap on the back. The slap on
we
the back.
do the slap right to the face.
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah,
you see a couple guys probably stab you in the gut with a knife. Be like, all right, now do it. Time to do it. It sounds like injuries just didn't exist in your time. Is that?
It's funny, you tore your ACL, I tore mine. I mean, I know the injuries happened, but it didn't seem like it happened. We didn't lose. Like we went years in Dallas without losing a player to a major injury. And then one year in Indianapolis.
And then look at the way they're built too. Like I don't know who this guy is on the left, but that's one of the Under Armour models you see when you walk into Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of fat guys back then.
So
that's hard changing.
How much are you guys weighing on the offensive line back then?
Honestly, like we didn't. Our heaviest guy back then was 270. Back in '82.
That's the move right there. Yeah. You should have a weight limits on football.
I remember Nate Newton came to us. Remember Nate Newton?
Oh yeah.
No, I do not know who Nate Newton is.
So Nate
Thick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nate Newton came. He came from Florida. He came from the USFL. So he was the first real big guy that I saw, like for the Cowboys. He was weighing somewhere around. There's Nate. He was weighing somewhere around 320. He was the big bomb, right? He went to Florida A&M, and he was a great football player. Great player. He was the foundation of those Cowboys Super Bowl teams. He was a left guard on it, but he came to us like in '85 or '86. And I remember they put a weight clause in Nate's contract, like he couldn't weigh more than 350. But Nate loved to eat. He had an issue.
He had an issue.
So he had to scale at home. And he weighed himself all off season until, the off season began. So he comes back, he's 395. And he's like, he can't understand why.
395?
395. But his scale only went up to 350. He didn't know it topped out at 350.
No shit.
So he thought he was good.
So he was just eating more and more, and he thought to himself, I guess I'm doing great. Metabolism's killing it right now. That is, he's in the golf cart. Look at him.
Yeah, Nate
just cruising. That golf cart is in hell.
He had dancing feet, man. His brother Tim Newton was a nose tackle in this league.
So what happened when he came back at 395?
He just put the sweatsuit on.
Yeah, just drop a quick 45. Get a quick 45 off your brother.
Jimmie Johnson came in like the next year, or a couple years later, and Jimmie loved him. So Nate, they had 2-A. They had Stepnowski was picked. Eric Williams, like they just put the best line together in football.
Yeah. Talk to me about Jimmie Johnson, his coaching style.
I wasn't there with Jimmie, but I worked with Jimmie for a long time.
Yeah.
Like Jimmie's thing was like he wasn't an X and O guy. He had guys that did that, but his thing was the roster. He wanted to build the roster. His thing was the draft. Like he manipulated the draft. He sold. He traded Herschel Walker for 6 picks to Minnesota. Yeah. He got Emmitt Smith. Like his thing was the draft. And like in a matter of, he came in '89, they're 1-15. And 3 years later they win the Super Bowl with the best team maybe ever assembled because the free agency started in 1993, so they started losing players. Kevin Gogan left, like all these, Steve Berline left, like all these backup players left, become starters in another team. But he built a 2-deep roster in 3 years. And so his thing was, that was, how do we get better? How do we get younger, faster, bigger? Russell Maryland's, like he just put the team together.
Who were all your head coaches?
I had Tom Landry, then I had Ron Meyer. Ron Meyer was he was a coach in Indianapolis when I went to Indy. I remember he had this killer Porsche. So I'm in training camp. I meet this chick, right? And I want to impress her, right? I'm a young guy. I'm trying. Okay. So I told the coach, look, I got a pickup. Can I trade you the pickup for the Porsche? I got to really impress this chick. So he flipped me the keys to the Porsche, took the girl out. Like that was the kind of guy he was. He was a team player. He was good. And then I had Rich.
he was good.
I had Rich. I had this guy in Philadelphia that was pretty good, man.
What was it like playing for Tom Landry?
It was brutal, man. It was just brutal. Like the Monday meetings, no matter what. I remember we beat Seattle one time, 35-3 in Seattle. So we had a long flight back. And he would go through the entire game, offense, defense, special teams. He was the only one that coached. Like no assistant coaches. He did every single play. And so you're just waiting for the play where you're too high, you got blown off the ball, you missed a block, and you're just going to get excoriated.
Know that feeling?
You know that feeling?
Oh yeah.
So you win 35-3, you feel like you lost the game. And I mean, everybody sweated. Like everybody was waiting for their moment when they you got highlighted by doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But he was a good coach though, man. He could coach everybody. He was ahead of the game in so many different ways.
I don't want to put a crystal ball, make you do a crystal ball, but what do you think changed between when you played and now, seeing all the injuries that are now taking place? Because when I hear you talking about 2-a-days, guys getting overly exhausted, not drinking water so the beer hits a little bit harder, guys getting after it every single day, playing basketball in the offseason, never giving yourself a break. But you say you go through years of guys not losing guys to injuries. And now you look at this where it's like every year, teams are losing more and more. Yeah, you're losing more and more guys.
I think, honestly, I think two things. I think one, the players are just so much bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah.
Okay? Like Butkus was the linebacker in the 60s. He was the face of the league. He ran a 5-flat 40. Like he couldn't, not that he couldn't play today, but, you couldn't play in today's game if you're running a 5-flat 40 at playing linebacker, right, Will? Mm-hmm. So I think bigger, stronger, faster. And then I think, all that contact we did, I think it just basically, you build calluses to the body, and you just didn't have the injuries that you get.
That's exactly the answer I thought you'd give.
Do you believe that?
Well, I think there's a level of the callousing of the body that I agree with. I think when you go into camp, even the soft ass camps that we have compared to yours, that first week you have a headache the entire time, aches and bruises, everything hurts more, like you feel every cut. By the 10th day of camp, your headache's gone now. You don't have the bruises you had. Yeah, your conditioning's a whole lot better. The helmet doesn't feel weird on your head. So there is a level of callous to that. Yeah. But breaking the body in over and over and over again, like a guy like yourself who played 12 years, I don't know how that sustainability you're able to have it.
Yeah. But with their generation too, there wasn't all the money and all the contracting. I feel like the players kind of have a little bit more, or, they like to think so, more leverage, going in all that. So when you do get bumps and bruises, they're playing through it compared to us. You understand that, hey, you're not going to get paid for being honorable and going out there on the field. So you kind of sit out a game or two so that way you're healthy in case you have to go into free agency. Mm-hmm. They don't know, they're just, it's all team. It's all
no film's better than bad
I think players overtrain today, though. I think they all go to these camps. They all go down to these different places, and I think they overtrain.
But the argument to your overtraining is when you explain your off season, getting in a bus, going and pick up your rival team's players, and then traveling through Texas.
Basketball game.
Yeah, but you're playing a basketball game. I'm sure you're wearing some sort of all-star Converses, ripping around on a hardwood floor. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of moving around. That's a lot of conditioning. That's a lot of training.
Yeah.
So
but it's not like I don't know. These guys are. I mean, maybe I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth on it, but we didn't have an off season until the beginning of April. Mm-hmm. So you had 2 or 3 months after the season ended to go do whatever you had to do. These guys are going to these camps now, that have been done playing now. They're already training. They're getting ready. They're down in Dallas.
Right, guys might take 2 weeks off, but then they're training. Yeah,
they're training down at these different places.
Mm-hmm. You do the O-line, the masterminds. That's with Lane, right?
Yeah, Lane started with Duke Manyweather down in Dallas. Like they do a good job down there.
Yeah.
But what's kind of cool is
They've been trying to get us down there for the last 4 years.
Oh, I know, because it's
we
in
gotta
what?
get
It's
down
in
there.
July.
It's grown a
or
lot.
June?
It's in
Yeah.
July. It's not just that. It's like our schedule. I know Russ Grimm, he does a camp in Pennsylvania every like April. And they've
Okay.
been trying to get us there too. Just have
Yeah, because
always a
Lane
schedule
reaches
thing.
out, and it's truly always just the time.
Yeah, because you'd love to. We love Lane. I
Yeah.
mean,
But
being
you know
around
what's
those guys would be
pretty
awesome.
cool though is like, you know, you see Kansas City going for the 3-peat. So like it's always like the second week in July, right? But there's Trey Smith and there's Creed Humphrey. They're there every single year in the front row. And you know, like if we have Steve Hutchinson there, whoever we might have, you know, Willie Rofe, like some Hall of Famers always there, Mark Schlereth, like we have good guys that are coming. These guys are asking them questions, picking their brains, like taking their notes. Then they're in breakout sessions. We got these college kids coming now with this NIL money.
Yeah.
Like the entire Alabama offensive line came this year. And they're all great kids. Like really, like they're real students of the game. But like they're teaching those kids, you know, what they've learned.
Yeah.
And picking their brains. And like they could easily be, you know, on a boat having a good time. You know, it's 2 weeks before training camp. But those guys they're there.
What the Alabama offensive line? We went to Alabama. Tyler Booker.
Yeah, Tyler.
Dude,
he was there.
What a guy! Like
Great kid.
People don't understand. This kid's going to be a great pro.
He's going to be Trey Smith.
You think so?
I think he's going to be Trey. I think he's going to be just like that.
Have you started breaking down the films of this incoming class for this draft?
I broke down. I remember I was there last year, and they were like, so they all came up and introduced themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it was before we were starting one day. So I said, what's your best game? Which game should I pull out? Georgia, which game? So we pulled out the Georgia game, and we're just going through all 5 guys. You know, and it's just kind of breaking it down and good things, the bad things, things that I would do a little different. They all kind of trained their hands with this guy who's this martial artist. So they were just good students and great kids. Like they listened, you know, but they were into it though. They were into the whole, like, what do we need to do at this level? Like, how do you, like, what's different about the running game versus the run game we're doing? So they're just, you know, what are we going to see from a front that we don't see at Georgia? That kind of thing.
What do you think the difference between college run game and NFL run game? Like, what was the kind of information you were?
Well, I mean,
them?
a lot of these run guys, like if you're in the Big 12, you don't play with a tight end.
Yeah.
You know, the tight end's a slot receiver. There's no 2-back offense, you know, in college football. So all those kind of things, like you're not running. You don't see a lot of counter Trey. You know, I don't know, power. You don't see a lot of that in the college game. So, you know, so that's different. It's like spread you to run it. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. In fact, if you're the left tackle in college right now, like you rarely ever combo block anybody. Like you might have a 5 technique on you, but a lot of plays you'll never have anybody outside you to even just go block the edge unless it's third down.
Yeah, I see a lot of the defenses in the Big 12 especially where they kind of
all play a 3-3.
They bring the end and he's head up on the tackle, and I'm thinking to myself, I wish
of course
that was always the case for me.
Yeah,
because
like,
that's the easiest block in the world is a head up guy.
Block.
You have leverage in every single direction.
Totally. And so you just protect your inside and like you just work them to the outside.
Right.
But, you know, they play this 3-3 double cloud just to stop the spread. And so, honestly, like you don't get any edge rushers. Like, so all these tackles that come out of the Big 12, like they got to learn how to block, you know, guys coming off the edge right now.
With O-line masterminds, it has grown in a big way.
Yeah.
And Lane being one of the guys who started it. Where do you see it going in the next few years? How does it evolve and continue to grow with the game?
Well, I think the cool thing is it's kind of like just been taken over by the players. So like a couple years ago, Aaron Cromer was out. He's the coach in Buffalo. Like he came. So Aaron was there. So we're getting some coaches there, the breakout sessions. But honestly, like I said, so there's a stunt now that's really popular in the NFL where that wide end's coming and just cracking on that guard and just taking the guard out.
Yeah.
Right. And now the tackle's just got a short loop.
Sets it
right?
up.
And
Comes
so
around,
we saw one yesterday, right? So I texted Duke Manyweather down there. I'm like, we got to work on this stunt because you're going to see it more and more. And unless you're on the same level, that guard and tackle on the same level, that guard's going to get picked.
Right.
So I think, like I saw it yesterday coming, and Trey Smith saw it, and he ate it up. And but he had gotten beat on it earlier in the game. So second time he didn't get beat. But so like little things that you're seeing that are giving guys problems, like we're kind of trying to get ahead of it.
On this stunt, this is a pass stunt?
Yeah.
Pass game stunt?
Yeah.
And is it a tilted 9?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's all in the tackle, right? On a ET.
Well, if he comes flat, like the tackle might now get his hands on him. He's coming just to wipe out the guard.
Right.
And now that tackle, the defensive tackle is now coming on a twist.
Yeah, looping across.
Yeah.
But if
And a lot of times, too, the DN's just trying to get to that back hip. If the guard doesn't see him, he's actually going to be the guy that comes free.
He could come free too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like don't give yourself up.
Right.
Like you can.
You don't just want to run
You can
into
come
him.
to the
You want to
pick
try
and
and
stay
get that
alive.
back
though.
hip. Yeah.
No doubt. Yep, for sure.
Is the D tackle, is he in a 3 technique or a 2-eye? What alignment is he in on this EN?
Well, he's probably in a 2.
On a
Yeah,
2.
he's probably head up so that way
Yeah.
the guard can't see.
He can't see him.
Right.
He's just being frozen.
Yeah.
Like he's just setting him up.
So you have to look it up as a
But-
guard as well.
Yep. But like this look right
Vrabel-
here by San Francisco, like this is a popular look in the NFL right
Yeah,
now.
the overload.
Somebody's coming back to bounce it up. Like, it might be, I can't see who that is right there, if that's Bosa or whatever. But somebody's coming back inside. Or they're going to run a twist stunt with the 2 tackles here to bounce it up. So as soon as like Fred Warner usually goes and ties up the guard, he'll walk over to the guard to tie him up and freeze him, and so that now the twist comes free.
It's such a shitty position to be in as a tackle because your biggest fear always is that speed.
Inside.
No, not on the stunt, just like rush,
Yeah.
third and whatever.
Yeah.
They're sliding away from you. You're thinking, I want to make sure I take away the speed rush or whatever this guy's
Yes.
fastball is. And if he goes at a straight angle, you have to gain ground
Yes.
going back in the line of scrimmage, get yourself on the same level as that guard.
Yep. Here you go.
Hey, bring up that last photo, Sherm. Because like Vrabe, he'll have things to where it's like even I think that's Bosa on the center.
Yeah.
To where he'll tie up the center for a second, and both the tackle in the end will come down to pick the center and the guard, and then Bosa, the guy over the center,
Yeah.
will wrap all the way around to
Yeah.
the outside.
Yeah. Tough stuff, man. The game evolves so much. We talked about it a little bit in the locker room, but just that blitz that Spags put out on that 4th and 5 or whatever it was when Josh Allen threw that ball, it's just like
he brought
the game of chess. Yeah, the
slot defender
corner.
came-
Yeah.
came
And not
up
even
slot.
just off the edge. He had the end to rush up the field knowing they're on the man side and brought him right into the B gap.
Yeah.
McDuffie had a hell of a game too. Like times
He's
where
a great
Josh
player,
was
man.
trying it out there, and it's just like, yo, Duffy is locking these dudes
Right.
up on the outside.
But he can lock you. He can lock up the slot. He can lock up your number one. He can blitz. Like he's just a total complete player.
Mm-hmm.
You love film. You love being around the guys. You love coaching so much. Like, why aren't you a coach?
I did coach. I coached 1 year in Italy.
Yeah.
I
Did
coached-
you not
yeah.
enjoy it? That's what I'm saying.
No,
Like,
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed.
I sit there and listen to you. You love the game
And
We
you
so
know the
much.
practiced
game.
at 9:00 at night because all these guys had full-time jobs. So, I like going out and eating pizza and drinking beers with the guys at the end till 2 in.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoyed doing. We had this guy. Our left tackle was this former Italian basketball player, Numa Gallerini. Numa Gallerini.
Oh, so Italian.
And
It's Italian.
Numa
Eats
was
pizza like this.
yeah.
he carried. So he kept his cigarettes in his socks. So he liked to have his cigarette breaks, in between. Even during the game, he'd have a cigarette break. So I like that aspect of coaching.
Yeah. So you don't necessarily, you're not like interested in putting.
I'm not
the
interested in that
12-hour
lifestyle
days.
of doing, literally 15 hours a day. Like I enjoy 15 hours a day in the film room because I always see like I'm learning something new, and I like giving guys some credit that probably aren't being talked about. Just from an effort standpoint or technique, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I like looking at and just seeing what happens. Oh, yeah, we are. Yeah, that's. I remember we played a championship game in Catania, Sicily. I'll never forget this. So Catania's you got to go even further south to all the way down there. So Catania's right where that white and red part in the south on the very bottom is. So we land in the airport. We drive through choking traffic for 2.5 hours to get to a restaurant to have a pregame meal, only to drive 2.5 hours back through that choking traffic to get to the stadium, which was 5 minutes from the airport. And they had to delay the start of the game because it took too long. So I said, well, why do we do that? And they said, well, the players love this, churrascaria. They had this Italian restaurant that they loved, this pizzeria. So they had to have the right food. So then we go back. So my right tackle is Pepe. Pepe's a banker, right? So at halftime, Taylor, I bench Pepe because he's stinking the place up.
Yeah.
So I bench him at halftime. He fucking starts crying. Right? Like he's never been benched before. But I'm like, I need a better right tackle. My quarterback's getting killed. And they said to me, they go, Pepe always plays bad in Catania because he eats too much, but he'll be fine in the second half.
Pepe always plays bad in Catania.
Pepe.
Because he eats
Pepe
too
the
much.
banker. God damn.
I still have a bank account.
So did you?
I still have a bank account from playing from coaching.
Did you
there.
put him back on the field when they said
Yeah, I did.
he'll
I put
come
him back
alive?
out there.
Yeah,
we-
that was all
we
you
better-
needed to hear. He
That's
eats
all
too
you
much.
needed.
Oh, he's got to run a little bit off.
Coach Pepe plays bad and
Pepe's
continues.
crying in the
The
corner.
whole game, the whole
Just
the
three
whole-
Italians walking up. Pepe always play bad. Pepe back
All
in
the
there.
guys came up to me like, "Hey, listen, you can't do this to Pepe. He always plays bad. He'll be fine in the second half." All right.
So, how did you get the gig of being an Italian coach?
So there's there's a John Gresham novel called Playing for Pizza. So it's a real story about this. Well, it's a fictional player about this American player that can't get a job at quarterback anymore in the NFL. The only place he can get a job is in Italy, playing for the Parma Panthers. So my friend reads the book.
The Parma Panthers.
Which is a real team. So anyway, so my friend Doug Cosby, who played in the NFL for a long time, with teammates of Dallas. He was coaching. He was kind of getting burnt out on it. He's like, Baldy, if I get this job coaching in Italy, can you come and be my line coach? I'm like, yeah, if I get away from the NFL Network, I'll come over there. So he gets the job. So I go over there and I coach his line. Over there. We go over there right after Super Bowl, and we practiced. We had this season. I don't know, 10-game season. Then we played a couple of like teams from, like Norway, or played a team from like Scandinavia or whatever. So we played a couple of charity games in between. Yeah, that's fun.
That is wild.
Taking a quick break from the episode to shout out Kevin's Natural Foods. If you want a delicious protein-packed meal on the table in 5 minutes, Kevin's Natural Foods heat and serve entrees are your MVP. Kevin's Natural Foods ready-to-heat entrees and stir-fry kits are shockingly delicious and made with clean, high-quality ingredients. They feature delicious restaurant-quality flavors like Korean barbecue, cilantro lime chicken, Thai coconut chicken, and roasted garlic chicken. Awesome part over the weekend when I was talking about going to Tampa, Bobby and Maya, they had Kevin's Natural Foods. The sausage pre-packed just sitting in the pantry whenever we made chicken. Kevin's variety of flavors and proteins offer countless opportunities to make it your own. Tacos, salads, sandwiches, etc. The opportunities are endless. Kick off 2025 with Kevin's and make it your healthiest and tastiest year yet. Look for Kevin's Natural Foods in the refrigerated section at your local grocery store. Back to this episode. You were talking to her earlier, talking about pointing out the effort and everything else. That's where the Baldy breakdowns come. Did you know it was going to be as popular as
No,
it
I
is?
didn't. Well, what happened was, my buddy at the NFL Networks is this guy, Daniel Jeremiah. So we used to do this show.
Love Daniel.
DJ's great. So we used to do this show called The Aftermath on Mondays at NFL Network in Los Angeles. So what I always do, back then I was doing a college game on Saturday, an NFL game on national radio on Sunday, and then I would fly to LA. And I get to LA and I wanted to watch as much film as I could on these games before we went to air. So I'd pull some. So anyways, me and DJ lived south of LA, and he would leave early to beat the traffic. So we would get in there like 4 a.m. So we watched tape from like 4 to 8. So one day DJ just like we see Taylor Lewan with some double teaming, King Henry goes 100 yards. So we put that. I'm like, let me play with that play. So we'd film it off our iPhones, whatever. And I kind of posted some of these things just for fun, and it, a little bit of interest and traction. But then the league suspended me for saying something one time, and it kind of pissed me off. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go in the film room. I'm suspended. I can't. And I started
Why
doing
did you get
breakdowns.
suspended?
I said something about Zeke, on some radio show. Like that, maybe he was his rookie year. Like maybe they should introduce Zeke to the NFC and maybe like rough him up a little bit. It looks a little too pretty for him. And whatever I said, they took it out of context. So I just started doing breakdowns. 2016. I had a flip phone at that time, and my friend said you should get an iPhone and put it up there and do these videos. So I got an iPhone.
So you went over to the Apple store, got yourself an iPhone?
My buddy took me to the Apple store. I didn't even know where it was.
That's awesome, man.
Traded in the flip phone and I got a real iPhone. And but it started getting traction right away. Like I knew the players were watching. I didn't know the fans were going to go so crazy.
Yeah, we watched. Yeah, we talked about it in the locker room, dude. Yeah, you get highlighted on a couple of those things because it was mostly offensive linemen for a little bit, right? And then you started jumping in the D line and
I started
kind of all over the place.
I wanted to do
the Commodore, Max Crosby.
Yeah, the Commodore.
Yeah. I nicknamed my game. I started giving these guys the nicknames. They loved it, man. I did Max's podcast out in Las Vegas last year. We became like best friends. I hope he stays with the Raiders, but I think he's just sick of losing, man.
Seems like it. It seems like he kind of wants out of there, huh?
I mean, all he's seen is just, you know, well, you don't know exactly, but, you know, like if you're just losing all the time, like you want to be a Raider, you know what it stands for. You want to be that guy that turns things around, but like they just keep rebuilding and
there's no continuity.
But now he's just like in the prime of his career. Like you're going to spend the prime of your career just on another coach, another GM, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, now
you gotta wonder if Tom Brady's going to turn it around, because there's reports coming out saying Tom's running the show over there. He's the one.
Well, he got Spy Tech. Did you know Spy Tech?
What is Spy Tech?
He was a Michigan guy.
Okay.
He played with Tom at Michigan.
Spy Tech.
Yeah, he was a Michigan guy. He wasn't much of. He was there with Tom. Then he went to Tampa. He went to Philadelphia. Went to Tampa with Jason Light. He's been there. He's been part of that group, and so he gets a GM job. Mm-hmm. Brady knows him, so you feel like, okay, you blow out Telesco, you bring in Spy Tech. All right, you blow out Antonio Pierce. Like, I don't know if Pete is Tom's guy or not, but it seems like he's got a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Pete, man, that's an awesome addition.
Pete Carroll getting back in the game. Is that a confirmed thing?
That's official.
That's official.
That's official.
Yeah, I mean, you got Pete Carroll. I'm just thinking, like, I did post like Pete Carroll was the guy, but I feel like we're kind of talking like we don't know who's running the ship with the Raiders. But I feel like Pete Carroll, monster. It could be somebody Max stays, and plays for.
Yeah, the energy that guy has, too. 2007, I went to an all-star camp at USC, had no offers at the time.
Yeah.
And I got to meet Pete Carroll. This is like when USC was USC. And I'm like, hey, Coach Carroll, nice to meet you. Trying to be as formal as possible. Right? Like, please, God, just look at me and give me an opportunity. Right. And he like slaps my hand out of the way and gives me like this big hug. And I was like, bro, this fucking guy, his energy. He's like the first guy to introduce the basketball hoop into the team meeting room. Like, hey, we're shooting for this.
Competition Wednesday.
Had the Matthews brothers on. They're talking about guys taking their shirts off, getting loud. One guy gets so juiced up, he takes all of his clothes off. Like, that's the kind of shit that you want Pete Carroll to bring into the Raiders locker room, because he's kind of like the perfect coach for that.
I think he's going to do a good job. I mean, these guys all kind of get rejuvenated a year out. I mean, Pete's got a nice house in North Shore, Hawaii. I'm sure, that.
Sure, he was having a good time. Yeah,
sure, I'm sure it was good for a couple of weeks. But, that guy, I mean, he'll put together a good staff. Mike Solari will be his offensive line coach, guaranteed. Like, he'll have a good staff. And, the guy, I don't know how many cups of coffee he drinks a day. Like, he never sits down. No. Like, he's always up, I think he knows what he's doing.
And him and Harbaugh. Back after it again. When Harbaugh was at Stanford and Pete was at USC.
No doubt.
And the
Chip
NFC
was
West.
at Oregon.
Yeah.
That was the Pac-12 was awesome.
That is.
Yeah.
That's going to be so awesome. I saw a clip
Andy Reid, Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll.
I saw a
Harbaugh.
clip of Pete Carroll and Harbaugh after a game. I think Stanford beat the brakes off of USC, and they shook hands, and he's like, "You all right?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good. You?" And they kind of have this weird posturing thing on their way, and it's just gonna be awesome to see the battles that take place with them.
Well, this is gonna be it's just personal stuff, man.
Yeah,
we're gonna go at it.
That's the stuff you want, though. You want those storylines.
But would you rather have a first-year head coach you have no freaking idea if that guy's gonna become something great? Like, look at Dan Quinn a second time around. He's always going to have his things that guys are going to be tuned in, plugged in. They're going to be on time, all the discipline. But his second time around, these guys, Pete right here, this is his third time. He knows what to do. He knows how to put the team together. When he stands up in front of the room, he's got everybody's attention.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got authority.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see
who are your favorite guys to break down across the league in your Baldy breakdowns.
Well, I love Max. Max because he plays every snap. Nobody plays harder. That's that. But Trey Smith in Kansas City, I love Trey Smith. Lane is just such a technician. It's almost boring, because he's always in the right place. Nobody gets a better start. The guy is just, and I'm friends with Lane. He's got this barn in his backyard.
Yeah.
So I go over and work out in his barn. It's 10 minutes from NFL Films. So, but you can always meet people over there. There's UFC fighters over there, guys from around the league in the off season. But so, Lane's good. But, honestly, Malata is a beast for a guy that never played the game in his life and was an Australian rugby player.
That is such a cool story.
It's crazy, So, the linemen are fun, but, Buda Baker. Buda Baker in Arizona, I nicknamed the Cobra. The guy just plays the game at a different speed.
Did you do a Baldy breakdown on Buda Baker with Taylor?
With Taylor?
What was that? What year was
what
that?
happened?
20. That was 2020.
What did
it was
he
the
do?
Chandler Jones game.
That was a Chandler Jones game.
He put me on my ass
Did
in
he?
the game. Yeah.
Did you see him coming?
No.
Yeah.
Buda,
Stared at him in the eyes. Pre-snap, lined up over me, and it was
Really?
a 2-minute drill, and I just flipped my hips, and he just
because he was coming, he was
down.
picking you, right?
No, he
For a
wasn't
center, he
picking
was
anything.
just
He was
rushing.
straight up. It was straight
He just
up.
bulled you.
Just bulled me. I had a safety bull me to the ground. It was one of the most the most demoralizing game, and of that game, that was probably the most demoralizing play.
Hey,
and
Do we have
honestly,
that? Do we have the video?
pull it up.
this would be
Also,
hey,
too, when you said Buddha Baker, I kind of like I could see facial expressions. I look over at JP. JP's like, I'm thinking to myself,
Hey,
God
you know what would be a
damn
good
it.
promo, Baldy, to promo this episode is to do a Baldy breakdown on Buddha Baker.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, we could
dude.
do
That'd
that.
be so much
Pro
fun.
Bowl,
We should for sure.
Pro Bowl
do that.
safety this year, man. He was awesome. But he's one of
Yeah,
those
he's
guys.
great. He's a good ball player. Good ball player.
But the thing is, it's like, you talk about injuries. He's one of those guys that plays this game at a ridiculous speed.
Yeah.
Like nobody should hit that hard at his size. He's 185 pounds, maybe.
This is it. Yeah, this is it right here.
Sorry about
Just-
this, Taylor. Sorry. It was not my intention.
It's all right. This happens. We need to watch it again.
But that guy plays again. He never gets hurt, man.
And he put one hand on me. He put one hand on
just
me.
a stab.
But look at my
you
hips.
going down, you're like, no, fuck.
That's a nightmare.
It's already.
That's a nightmare
I've already
right
given
there.
up. I've already given up 2 sacks in this game, 3 TFLs. Like it's that's a mental warfare right there.
That's
You
a,
wanna
that's
see
a
a guy-
sleepless night.
Yeah,
Tell
yeah.
people know that you do not sleep those nights.
You do not say. I mean, you remember? You came over to the house. We just sat in silence in my man
I
cave.
just sat next to him while he just watched
No,
the film.
like,
I was just
literally.
trying to be there for him, just like as a support animal. Like, hey, don't pet the dog. And I was just sat next to him like while he
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
film that entire
No,
night.
but what
and I would just take deep breaths and go, look at this, man.
But that's the thing.
all
about-
you have to is like nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
you say all those things, but as an offensive lineman, like you can have 70 great plays. If you have one play like that, that's all you think about.
Yeah, the problem-
people don't really understand.
The problem is there were 70 plays in that game. 65 of them looked like that. that
He
game
just
was,
had a bad day.
No,
Had a
that game
bad
was
day.
that was my first game off my first ACL, and I've told the story a bunch, but like I really thought in my head like driving to the stadium, I'm like, this is it, man. This is when you're back on the map. This is
Yeah.
when Baldy Breakdowns is going to
Okay,
cover probably
yeah.
all the fucking plays.
Yeah.
That's how I was feeling.
We're on the phone. It's like, hey, get the fight started.
Yeah, get the fight started. First play of the game, Todd Downing's like, hey, when night meetings, first play of the game, 19 Wanda. We're coming behind you, Lewan.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the NFL. Like, I'm like in my head, like, yo,
yeah.
it's about to go down. First play, we run 19 Wanda. I see Chandler Jones. He sees me. I could tell by his stance, he's going inside.
Yeah.
I take a step, he goes inside. I'm thinking, we've got this
Yeah.
motherfucker about to have an explosive first play. 4-yard TFL. Just looked over there. I'm like, that's so crazy. I saw him, but I couldn't turn. That's wild. Second series, 3rd down.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm great at getting out of my stance. I'm great at getting to the mesh point
Yeah.
so they can't beat me on a speed rush. Chandler Jones, elongated, and I'm looking at him like, stop, sack. It was just, dude, play after play.
That's funny. Like you can remember it in your head. It's never going to go away.
It's never
Like,
going to go
it'll
away.
Never go away.
And it's like one of the beautiful things. Like I love doing this show, but as long as I do this show,
Yeah.
it's going to come up.
It's gonna come back up.
multiple times a year. It's
Yeah.
always going to be something, and it's just it hurt. It actually hurts just as much right now
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
we're talking about.
But at least you can laugh about it now.
Yeah. They got
A lot of pain behind the laugh.
Devondre Sweat was a good guy to break down this year.
Devondre Sweat, yeah,
he
he
was
was
a
a
good
beast.
man. I had fun breaking him
Devondre
down.
Sweat. What about Trent Williams?
Oh yeah, well Trent was like the thing is like Trent has that backside cutoff block
Yeah.
where he just freaking slaps you by the back of the head and he puts you down.
Incredible.
Like I said this when Christian McCaffrey went to San Francisco. I go, the play might be going to the right, but it's going to end up behind Trent.
Yeah.
I go, every play ends up behind Trent. Like it still does. Like I don't know what his like if he's got another year, I'm sure he does, but like he can still play.
Yeah.
Like because he's still slapping people down and his hands are still amazing.
And he's savvy. He's still like elite athleticism. He might be not as athletic as he was before, but the movement, the mobility is
The
incredible.
movement's crazy.
Tell the story about when you were at the Redskins and he was talking to Brian Orakpo.
Oh yeah, he was. We were sitting there at the cafeteria. We were like having lunch, like after practice, and Rack had the web thing where he had like jam fingers or something, so he's just kind of like working rehabbing.
Yeah.
And Logan Paulson and myself are just sitting there talking like, hey, we just got to survive in advance. Got to survive in advance for guys like us. And Trent comes and sits down, and I forget what Logan and Rack were talking about, but Trent ultimately he like kind of chuckles, not in like a disrespectful way, and he's like, honestly, it's like for me, I think to myself like, when am I going to walk in these doors and somebody's going to challenge me at practice? And we sit there like, fuck.
To
man.
Rack's
He
face.
just has such a different gene pool
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
confidence.
Yeah.
That's like he knew he was the best player on the field. You know,
At
it's
all
like as
times.
Logan and Paulson and I are sitting there talking, like just fucking battling against certain guys just every day. Like, fuck, when are you gotta find an edge here? What kind of extra work are you gonna get in trenches? Like, I'm wondering when I'm gonna walk in these doors. And Brian Arakpo's on the team.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm wondering when I'm gonna walk in these doors and somebody's gonna challenge me.
Sitting
So
right
we're
to
all
his
laughing,
face.
busting Rack's balls.
He has the exact same warm up still to this day every game. Like he takes a lap around the field. He's got his warm up jacket on, and then he does this mental thing where he's just getting off on the get off, and he's just left foot back. You know, he's always got that foot that's just like that left foot digging in the ground, and he just does shuffle, 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 turn and run, and you watch him do it. And I've put it on film before pregame, and 6 million people are watching and going, "How's the guy that fucking big still move that fast?"
Right.
They
Like he's still
they
dancing.
say when the guys would go to the YMCA and play basketball, like you'd think he'd play as a big man, like he plays on the perimeter. He can
Yeah.
like windmill dunk. He shoots threes. He has handles.
It doesn't surprise me.
He's an incredible athlete.
Yeah. It's impressive, man.
He boxes.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
he
good.
he can really do it all.
Yeah.
I mean, you see it too. Like any like scrum you've ever seen, like the one with Richard Sherman, where he's like, "Hey, what you gonna do? I'm gonna punch you in your face. Do it then," and he fucking does it. Yeah. Or in the Cleveland Browns a couple years ago when they were 6-0 going to Cleveland, there's a big scrum over by the Cleveland sideline. He just takes a DB and throws him.
No, he's the
It's just-
enforcer.
The
He's the
Chiefs
bouncer.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just always, he's just that guy.
He's the enforcer.
Yeah. Everybody wants to talk shit. He will do something
Yeah.
about it.
He just finish it.
Yeah.
I had a question, but I forgot.
How was the competitive dynamic between you and your brothers? You 12 years, your other brother 12, and your other one 8.
Yeah,
like, do
man,
you guys-
Clearly, you knew you worked harder than your brother if he got
Yeah,
drafted, and you're like, this motherfucker.
this lazy piece of shit, I believe was the exact term you used.
It's still competitive, man. Like
Yeah.
it still is. It just never really goes away. It could be something like I think my brother, you know, he was a year younger than me. Like everything I did, he tried to do. Like, but I love basketball. He didn't really like basketball. He could dunk real easy. He just like bending rims, just hanging up there and just bending rims and stuff. But like honestly, like I remember I went to Duke. He went to Wake Forest, and we were beating them one day late in the year, and we're winning. And they said, "Hey, do you want to go play defense against your brother?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want to go play defense." So I went and played defense
It's
then.
crazy. Hey, you want to go both ways in a D1 football game?
Yeah, did that. And then my little brother was a nose tackle in Buffalo, and I was playing like with basically a chipped ankle. So I had a cast on my ankle, and he was a backup nose tackle for Buffalo for a while. And I'm playing center that year, and like here he is on my nose, and he beats me on his sack. Right, I couldn't redirect or whatever. And there's Bruce Smith laughing and Cornelius Bennett. They're all laughing at me. I'm like, this mother. And then somebody took a picture of it. Him beat me. And like that picture went everywhere. I'm like, that my little fucking brother beat me, man. Like that, it still burns me up, man.
God,
Yeah.
that's
who,
awesome.
who are some of the best players you ever played with? And their work ethic also matched their talent level.
Well, Reggie. Well, Reggie didn't have the work that, you know, Reggie. So I go to Philadelphia, right? And I was like, I came from Dallas, so every practice was always full speed for me. So I've come to Philly and I'm going up against Reggie, and I'm going full speed at Reggie. And like by the second day, we're in training camp. He pulls me aside. You know, I had this deep voice. He's like, "Hey, listen, kid." He goes, "Here's the rule." I go, "Well, what's that?" He goes, "If my chin strap is buckled, you can hit me. And if it's not buckled, don't you dare hit me." And that was it. Like he didn't practice with no chin strap, you know. Like he just was out there just being Reggie, like just humping people. Like that was the most talented guy that I ever played with or
Just
against.
humping people.
Just humping guys up and down the field, man.
340-pound offense tackles just getting thrown off.
What
the
do you
screen.
think about the argument when people talk about Reggie White and Aaron Donald?
Well, Aaron had the same. Aaron had the mentality. Like literally, you talk to Whitworth and these guys that were with the Rams. Like he's like one day we were up at we were in Napa and they were scrimmaging the Raiders. So I was like watching practice with Warren Sapp. So Sapp is like watching Aaron Donald and he was like trying to fall in love with Aaron, but he was Sapp. So he's trying to find something. So anyways, he's like watching him. Literally, Aaron Donald started every fight in practice that day, put the right guard out for put him out, and then finished the fight. And there's Sean McVay running from field to field and just wrapping his arms around Aaron Donald, like making sure like anybody else could get hurt in this fight, but Aaron Donald's not getting hurt. Like he's getting off the fight. He's getting off. Aaron was a beast. Like you talk about how he set the tempo in practice. You know, his walkthroughs were full speed.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
Just like the Commodore.
It'd be like when Vrab, remember when that fight happened with Jeff Simmons?
Jeff Simmons, yeah.
Vrab
Versus
was on nowhere
Tampa.
to like back him up. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Jeff, no.
Yeah.
That shit was so funny. You think Jeff's gonna end up with the Patriots? There was a little some question marks saying
People
Jeff
talk
Simmons.
about Jeff. People also talk about AJ Brown.
Yeah.
You saw Vrave talk about AJ.
Yeah.
Still has a close relationship with him.
I wonder if AJ would do it.
I hope Vrave crushes it, man. I think. It's
I hope he does too.
I'm also pumped
I think he's
about-
going to.
Yeah,
I think he is
too. I also think I'm rooting for Aaron Glenn too. Like he played for the Jets, and even though he's going to be the head coach there, everybody's like, "Why would you want to go be a head coach for the Jets?" But I love that Aaron Glenn's with the Jets, a former team that he played for. I love that Vrave's with the Patriots.
Yeah.
I was kind of rooting for Deion Sanders to go to the Cowboys.
Yeah. I wanted Dion to get that job. That'd have been awesome.
How do you think? What was his? What's his name?
Shador?
No. The new head coach for the Cowboys, Schottenheimer. How do you think he's going to do as the head coach for the Cowboys? Like a lot of people saying, like,
It's not a very good roster, Will. It's not
yeah.
a very good roster. I mean, my brother played for his dad. You know, Marty. Marty was a great, great coach. He wasn't great in the postseason, but he won a lot of games. Like if he's, we'll see if he's more than just a coordinator. He's been a pretty good offense coordinator, but now he's got to be a head coach with a roster that's not very good.
Yeah.
They don't seem to know how to build a roster. I mean, Philadelphia and Washington just went right past them. With free agent signing, know how to spend the money, know how to run the salary cap. Like the Eagles always have money to get. Everybody got extended this year.
Yeah.
They found money for Saquon. They got the quarterback taken care of last year. They got AJ, Devontae. Everybody's gotten taken care of.
What do you think the issue is with the Cowboys?
I think it starts at the top.
Yeah.
Like I respect Jerry Jones a great deal. I like Jerry. He runs a first class organization, but they should have paid Dak before they played Zeke. Take care of the quarterback. That screwed him up. And so now, the offense line kind of fell apart. We'll see if this Tyler Guyton can, come on, but they're going to lose Zach Martin probably, and they're going to have to keep rebuilding that. And, they're just not that talented. Like, can they take care of Micah? They got to take care of Micah. He's their best player.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have enough money to do it.
Zach Martin was such a stud.
Still is
but
a great ball player. Yeah.
The greatest stat I ever heard on Zach was he had 7 first-team All-Pros and 5 holding calls in his first 9 years. 5 total holding calls.
And that's incredible.
In 9 years.
And he played left tackle at Notre Dame.
And left tackle at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is incredible.
He was a great player, man.
Yeah.
You go out there to watch a practice. You just watch him out in Oxnard at training camp and stuff. You just watch him. He didn't lose one single drill. He's just like every drill. One-on-ones. Team drill, whatever. We didn't get beat.
You played across the entire offensive line. Like, what's your favorite position on the O-line to watch and break down?
Like, honestly, I think you're only as good as your center. Like, there's 3 great centers that came out this year. This Graham Barton in Tampa was really a good player. Like, they went from last in rushing to 4th in rushing. They got the center position figured out. Like, I think it starts inside. But there's so many tackles that you have to watch, and to see them just, from Trent to Lane to, you go through, Penei Sewell, just see his power.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun watching those guys just move people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It starts with the left tackle. No doubt about that.
No, but listen to this, Taylor. So you're left tackle, right?
Yes, sir.
So listen to the transition that the Eagles had at left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
They went from Trey Thomas to Jason Peters to Jordan Mailata. Like, there's a 20-year stretch of, like, literally as good a left tackle as there is in football.
Yeah.
But that was a priority for them. Now and they traded for Jason Peters before he was ever Jason Peters. And they spent a high pick on.
Wasn't he like a quarterback or a tight end?
He was
before?
a tight end. Jason Peters was a tight end.
So was Lane
college.
Johnson.
Yeah, Lane was a
also.
quarterback. He came. I think he went to Oklahoma as a quarterback, started at tight end, and then ended up being a tackle.
Yeah.
I mean,
he still ran the fastest 40 of any tackle ever at the combine.
Yeah.
Still the fastest 40 ever. Is that true or not true?
That is true. No.
Taron
Armstead ran the fastest.
He did?
Yeah, he ran a 4.65 or something like
so
that.
Lane was like,
but he was at 285. Lane Johnson, he ran the fastest 40 of any tackle over 300 pounds.
Okay.
Just like 4.74.
And what was yours?
4.85. I know.
You're scooting though, bro.
I'm moving.
That's moving. That's moving.
Moving.
You're making every backside cutoff when you can do that.
Yeah, able to do that. Yep. Yeah, Lane, man. I mean, also franchises being able to have left tackles for that many years.
Yep.
That's pretty impressive. I think the Titans had that with
Bruce Matthews.
No, Bruce Matthews was more of a guard. I'm thinking, who was the guy before? B-Hop?
Yep.
For 10.
Yep.
And then Michael Ruse right after that. And then who was the other one? Probably the best one of the 3, yeah? We'll get the name later.
Yeah.
We'll get the name later.
You
That's
said
about
Daly?
30
There you
years
go.
on the
Good.
Titans.
That's
Yeah.
good, man.
It's like the Packers with quarterbacks. You got Favre, Aaron Rodgers, now
Yeah.
Jordan
Bart
Love.
Yeah.
Starr. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bart Starr.
Yeah.
Before we get in, I know we're running low on time. We need to do a twisted question and a pet peeve bitch test with you. Who do you got winning the Super Bowl?
I've got the Eagles. I said from the very, like, I'm not going to change this pick just because the Chiefs are here and they took care of business against Buffalo. But I thought when the postseason started, I said the Eagles would go 4-0 in the postseason. Like, I'm not changing. I thought they were the best team in the trenches, and their young players all like had this meteoric rise, so they don't even look like rookies. You know,
You don't think it's any bit of that Philly bias?
no, there's some bias there, but I thought, like, the quarterback got healthy, the running back is a star, the line is healthy, like healthy, like both teams will be healthy.
Great
Like
defense.
I like the Eagles' chances right here. More, they can beat them more different ways than Kansas City can.
All right, I love it. All right,
Who
let's
you got?
do Eagles.
All right.
This got it.
I got the
I
Chiefs.
said on the locker room, this got Eagles all over it.
Yeah. And for that reason, I will be going Chiefs.
So you're just fading. Are you fading me? Or
I'm
you actually
fading
think the
you.
Chiefs-
I'm,
You
know
can't be
you-
talked out of the Chiefs.
I think there's a hell of an argument for the Eagles. But then you look at Andy Reid.
He also wants
you
to
look at
see,
Spags.
which I don't hate.
No, I
that
understand.
either.
You want to see the three.
And I'm
Yeah,
not.
the
I'm not. I'm
three-peat.
not. I'm not like a. Oh, I love the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I just think this is a very cool situation
Yes.
to be like, yo,
Unique.
let's get blessed,
Yeah.
real quick, and then we can move on from the
And
Chiefs.
I mean, we've seen such a run with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, if they win the Super Bowl, like the argument's almost there with him and Tom Brady right now.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. But
'Cause
yeah,
he's-
I mean, 7 years, 7 AFC championships.
Yeah,
He has 3 Super Bowls. This will be his 4th Super Bowl, 3rd in a row.
this will be his fifth. He's lost
Fifth
one Super
Super
Bowl,
Bowl.
but
yeah,
fifth
yeah,
Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
No, yeah, for his 4th Super Bowl win if he gets the win.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
The
I
only
love
guy
that.
that
I
can beat him in the
love,
Super Bowl is Tom
I
Brady.
love the dialogue of the
thing.
GOAT. I love
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
I think a lot of hate comes to the Chiefs because the Chiefs are so good. And we
well,
just
a lot of
used
hate
to
comes
it.
because of the officiating, because of the official.
The
stuff,
officiating
which
was bad.
there is some stuff there.
There is some stuff there. Absolutely. I think there was a lot less stuff in this last game than there were in the past. But yes. Yeah, we talked about
It's
all
out
this. in
there.
the-
It's out
It's
there.
out
It's
there.
out there. It's out
It's
there.
out there and it's clear.
Yeah. All right. This twisted question comes to us from Twisted Tea, a refreshing hard iced tea made with real brewed tea and 5% alcohol, full of flavor and very refreshing. Baldy, you'll appreciate this.
Okay.
It goes down smooth. There's
Yep.
zero carbonation, which makes it easy to drink all day long. It feels fun and celebrates extreme fandom on game day and is the perfect alcohol beverage for game day, whether tailgating in the parking lot, watching at a bar, watching with your boys at home. Twisted Tea is there to turn up your game day. Keep it twisted with the boys and grab a refreshing Twisted Tea today. Boys in the back, what is our twisted question?
Our twisted question this week comes from actually a fan, Gage Holland.
Shout out Gage. Shout out Gage.
All right, Gage.
If you could experience any song, movie, sports event, TV show for the first time again, what would it be and why?
Well, that's a lot of stuff. Song, TV show, movie.
I'll take Jaws. This greatest movie of all time. I'll take Jaws.
You want to experience that movie again for the first time?
Yeah. Because
Let's do all 3. Let's do movie, song, sporting event.
okay. So TV show.
Movie.
I just saw Seinfeld perform the other day. Like, he had me laughing for an hour and 15 minutes. I just do Seinfeld.
Okay.
Like, there's no bad episodes.
Show about nothing.
Show about nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll say movie. If I could relive the first experience, it would be Friday Night Lights. We watched it. The high school
Yep.
football
Oh,
team
yeah,
went
yeah, yeah.
together.
That was a motivating-
opening
that was a
night.
motivating
Went out
thing.
watching.
Yep.
That's the one. TV show, Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I love Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Did you ever watch it?
I never did.
Never
I
watched Thrones.
no.
That you get to experience it for the first time.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
it's something
okay.
for you to do.
What about song?
Song. Either Freak a Leak by Petey Pablo or Lose Yourself by Eminem.
Oh,
that
that's
was
a good one.
in my CD Walkman. I ran that song into the ground. And that's when, I wasn't savvy enough to get on the internet and look at the lyrics, but you're rewinding and trying to catch all the lyrics so that way you knew the entire
Do you know
song.
how you know when you have great street cred? When your name gets mentioned in an Eminem song, like mine. Like when Eminem dropped me when he dropped me in Legacy,
Yeah.
like I knew I had it made. At
That
that
is
point.
Wow.
fucking
Yes.
awesome. Yes.
Just a bunch
And
of
you're
Brian
right.
Baldingers.
Yeah.
Yes. When you get that done,
That's beautiful.
I'll say, I'll take Hank Williams Jr. and A Country Boy Can Survive. Like that's a great song.
Great song.
Yeah.
Phenomenal song. You know that song?
Yeah. Country boy can't survive.
Oh, yeah. Okay. He said the name of the title.
yeah.
Got it. He's got it locked in.
I hit the
Just saying
elevation.
the title goes, oh, I know that song. Movie for me would be Wedding Crashers. Seeing Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn for the first time, the
Great movie,
dynamic
yes.
duo, the opening scene of them mediating the divorce.
Yeah.
It changed my personality for life.
Yes,
watching Vince Vaughn.
That
awesome,
generation, that run is like all you quoted in school and everything
That's
else.
it. And it was this. It was like, I don't know if it was a start, middle, or whatever it was, but that early 2000s comedy was maybe the greatest span of movies.
I felt like that movie didn't even have a script. That was just those two guys just being stupid together.
That whole thing is incredible. The scene when they're walking down the stairs, or you're mad because a hot older woman showed you her tits. Grow up. Like the whole thing.
Peter Pan, Count Chocula.
Yeah. First play of the big game with Open Hail Mary. Phenomenal movie. Song for me, Anthem Part 2, Take Off Your, by the album, by this band Blink-182. Album is Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, is the first song on that album. And just starts with the drums, bean, 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 hit the guitar in there, dude. Emo Taylor, Hate Your Parents Taylor. That song was setting me up. It was right around the time.
Yeah.
Right around the time Wedding Crashers also came out. What was the other one? TV show? Dude, mine's not going to be a big one, but it's true to me, and it's Scrubs.
Yeah.
I think something about JD and
It's true to me.
Yeah, it's Brown Bear, the whole thing. Anytime I had relationship issues, for whatever reason, that show came on, and I just felt
that
good
was your
about it.
therapy.
Yeah,
My boy Logan loves Scrubs.
Does he?
Yeah,
There
it's
he
one of
is.
his favorites.
It's a phenomenal
Scrubs
show.
and Lost.
Never seen Lost, but Scrubs to me is probably my favorite show of all time. It's unbelievable.
I love it. Should we get into
What about a sporting event?
sporting event?
I don't know. I haven't been to a whole lot of sporting events.
You're not necessarily like you've been to, or
Maybe
Maybe
one-
just
The
one that
greatest
you've
sporting event
watched.
I've ever been to was the Grand Prix of Monaco. That thing, like,
You've lived a life.
no, it's unbelievable. Ted. Like, you talk about like living a life. Like they had, like Ferrari rented out this Club Med boat. Okay, and I was friends with these guys that I grew up with that ended up becoming big at NASCAR, making merchandise. They made a lot of merchandise for us. So Formula One was going to fly them to Monaco, and so that they could kind of pitch their merchandise to people at Formula One. So they asked me if I wanted to come along. I'm like, yeah, I want to come along. So like we helicoptered from this Club Med boat to like the race itself and to the time trials. And then we were in a casino every night, just winning French francs. Like that 4 days. I remember one time we were on this boat and I go, the only thing we need is like some Prague models just to come on and parade around this boat. Fucking models showed up and just started parading around the boat.
I just manifested it.
That event's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, there's no beating that.
Yeah, there's no beating.
There's no beating that.
My sporting event probably hasn't happened yet, but it's going to be watching the Nebraska Cornhuskers win a national title.
Okay, all right. You a big Matt Rule fan?
Oh yeah,
I love Matt.
Matt.
I love
Rule.
Matt Rule, man.
You know him well?
Oh no, really? He was at Temple when I was in Philly, so I
Okay,
used
yeah.
to speak to his team every year. But I became good friends with Matt. Really,
He's
good. And
awesome,
I
man.
Followed him, down to Baylor. So
Yeah.
I did some things with him down at Baylor when he went there. And forget about the Carolina. I think he's going to turn around in Nebraska.
Yeah, I
Got
think
the
so,
quarterback,
too.
I think.
Yeah, Raiola.
I love it. Yeah, Will loves Matt Rule. He was actually quoted as saying, "Is if Nebraska Cornhuskers go 6-6 this year, I'll be calling for his head." That was a direct quote of Will Compton in August.
We went
was it
7
August,
we-
JP? JP knows what I'm talking
we
about.
went
Huh? He's there in
JP
August.
knows what I'm saying. We went 7-6 this year. Pinstripe Bowl champions.
Should have beaten Ohio State.
Yes,
Had
I
Ohio State on
agree,
the ropes,
man.
man.
Coulda.
Yeah, we had them on the
Coulda.
ropes.
Not everybody can beat Ohio State, man. Only 2 teams did it this year. Only 2 teams did it. Reliving, I mean, I have to. I could go national championship, but that 13-10 win over Ohio State. Watching Michigan win that game.
You talking about this year?
Yeah. Reliving, rewatching. You're watching a game. You can't laugh about something. You were like, my event hasn't happened yet.
I tell you,
Somebody
what,
watching Nebraska win a
it's
national
not gonna-
that was
championship.
Wink Martindale's greatest day.
Amazing.
Amazing
Did he
day.
leave?
No,
I
don't
heard he
think
was
so.
talking about leaving.
Oh, I mean, I can't believe he's not in the NFL.
Ohio State lost their DC.
Wouldn't you say last year when you were at the game and fucking with Big Ev?
Yeah, that was awesome. But like, I something about Michigan being so down this year
Yeah.
and not having a throwing game and being 20 and a half point underdogs
Yeah.
in Columbus. And I was watching that game just being a fan.
Yeah, yeah.
Thinking like, oh, and then gets to halftime, like, okay, they'll run away with it. Now's when they'll run away with it. And for it to happen the way they did. And then the blender that Ohio State goes into after, like it's fresh to my mind. I know they won the Natty. That was awesome. That was great. We'll be back.
If you could relive a game you played in, which one would it be?
Probably like my rookie, like these rookies come into the league and they go to Super Bowls, win Super Bowls, and everybody says it's not that easy. It doesn't happen like that. My rookie year, we lost the NFC Championship game in Washington at RFK to the Redskins. Like if I could relive that and win that game and go to the Super Bowl that year, I would want to relive that.
I like your spin on that.
Yeah.
I like your spin.
Because what happens is if you lose, like that song, "Hail to the Redskins," it's one of those songs that gets like it still wakes me up in some nightmare. I mean, I can't
just
get that
wake up
song.
in a cold sweat.
They would score a touchdown, freaking "Hail to the Redskins." You're like, fuck, do I have to? Like, I'm reliving that thing in my head sometimes. Yeah. Not often. I don't live in the past, but
I don't live in the past. It wakes me up at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're reliving a game that you could win, I'm going back 2019 AFC Championship, 2 quarters away from beating the Chiefs, go to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That's the game.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
good,
I guess the only time we went to the playoffs, really, where I was playing was the Packers.
Miss.
But reliving reliving a game
with a chance to write it.
Yeah, with a chance to write it would be, Big Ten championship with the Nebraska
2012.
Cornhuskers.
I'm so glad you said that because I'm thinking that's got to be the answer.
Yeah, because you win because that year we had 7 second half comebacks.
What were your ranks going into that game?
Oh man, I don't remember. Top 15. Because we lost that. We were 10-2. We lost that one. Then we go out. No, that wasn't South Carolina. That's when we lost to Georgia in the Capital One Bowl.
Do you know the story behind how Fox Sports even got into college football?
Mm.
So David Hill, who's the president he basically ran Fox Sports. He started Fox Sports. He's an Australian, but he started Fox Sports. His wife's sister went to Nebraska, and they went to the spring game at Nebraska. And it was Big Red. It was complete. The whole thing was sold out. And that day, he said, "We're getting into college football." And Fox got the college football playoffs and championships and all that stuff. And eventually, they became big players in the sport.
So Fox Sports started all because of that experience at a Nebraska spring game.
At a spring game,
sold out.
At a sold out spring game.
We love that, guys.
We did not need to hear that story.
We love that. We love that.
We'll doubling down. So you're saying, Fox
just to be clear for everybody listening, Fox Sports
want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. All right, pet peeve. So pet peeve, like there's a lot of things to be happy about and have gratitude about and be humble about. Pet peeve is your opportunity to bitch and complain about one thing. It could be super small, it could be super big, whatever it is to you. I'll start.
You got it.
Oh. What is this? We're sponsored for it? Yes, sir. All right, as you prepare to host big game day celebrations, what are some possible whole body odor related issues you may encounter that make you less confident in your hosting duties? Are you afraid of taking your shoes off when entering your friend's house, getting nervous your team is down at halftime? Tackle whole body odor with Dove Men Plus Care Whole Body Deo. This is a whole body deo. Defend against all your odor zones, from your pits to your privates to your feet. And it's long-lasting 72-hour odor protection. Find Dove Men Whole Body Deo at Walmart today.
Go ahead, start it off.
Okay, my pet peeve is I was on a flight. I took a lot of flights this weekend. I had to go to Fort Lauderdale and to Boston, but I had to connect. And my flight from Fort Lauderdale, which is the Mecca, the beacon for
I fly out of. I live in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, so you probably have pre-boarding for Southwest.
I got clear all the whole thing.
No. But you're one of those. Are you one of the guys that go in before they put the general boarding on at Southwest? You get the pre-board.
Not for Southwest, but American, yeah.
Okay, Southwest. I mean, people on this flight going to Baltimore as I was connecting. There's 40 people on this flight.
Right.
20 of those people were pre-boarding.
Right.
And one guy was actually in a corner stretching before, and then as they're calling for the pre-board, this is not a joke, walks over and gets in his wheelchair and is wheeled down the tarmac
Too many
into the
people
thing.
that can walk on wheelchairs.
This guy's stretching. Yeah. He's stretching. He's elongating the muscles.
He's hitting calisthenics in the corner.
That is insane.
Like TGI Friday.
I get it. You're a little overweight. You got a broken leg. You got a little something, whatever. Like you need a pre-board. Go ahead and do it.
I'm with you on that one.
But you're fucking touching your toes?
I haven't seen that one,
nuts.
but I've seen plenty of people in wheelchairs that can walk just fine.
Yeah.
That are
They
getting
get
pre-boarded.
and also getting off that flight.
Yeah.
There was this hefty black guy getting
Yeah.
in, and he's like, there's a guy waiting for him in the wheelchair, and the guy's like getting a wheelchair situation. You can see that this black guy, he's getting frustrated.
There was way too many
with how long it's
wheelchairs.
taking. And he just goes, I can walk up, it's fine. I'm thinking, this motherfucker, dude. You gotta be kidding me. That's all. That's on the same
That's like
flight.
Mahomes getting a late hit call.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
figured it out.
Him slowly jogging out of bounds and getting hit. So yeah, my pet peeve is the I guess it's the pre-board, man. People taking advantage of pre-board.
You got a pet peeve you're thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of them, but one is just basic incompetence. Like this morning, okay? This morning, I call room service to see if they can deliver breakfast.
Yeah.
No answer. All right, you're in a hotel, though, so okay. So I walk downstairs, and I talk to the lady in the restaurant. I go, hey, can I get some breakfast ordered and sent up to my room? I'm working up there. I don't want to take the time. I wanted to get ready for the show. So they're like, oh, yeah, no problem. So I go upstairs, nothing, right? I don't hear nobody knocks on my door. There's no breakfast being served. 45 minutes go by. I'm like, this look. So I walk downstairs, and I see the lady. And I go, hey, is breakfast ready? She goes, oh, let me go get it. She goes in, and she's in there for 5 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck? So she comes out and she goes, oh, I forgot to give the slip to the chef. We don't have breakfast for you yet. So I'm like, well, what the fuck? So I go, look. She goes, but I'll bring it up to your room. So she brings me up to breakfast a little bit later. Of course, she forgets the sausage, forgets the coffee. Like, she couldn't even deliver the breakfast. Like,
Fucking
basic
incompetence.
So incompetence on anything. Like basic incompetence.
Yeah.
Like, you got a job to do. I don't care what the job is. Like, have a little bit of confidence about doing the job.
Have a little
some pride. Yeah.
Or pride.
I'm with you. That's a great pet peeve.
Yeah.
Mine recently, that was eating at me last night, is Rue is in her I want mom phase.
Oh,
And
heartbreaking.
we switch every night on who does bedtime. Yeah, and we switch every night on who does bedtime. And Rue, for the life of her, is just in a tantrum, can't breathe, all of it, because she wants mama. And I'm just sitting there on the couch like this, not like Rue. Mom is in the other room putting Scotty down. Like, it's Dada's turn to do bedtime. You realize you hurt Dada's feelings when you just scream for mom, because I love putting you down for bedtime. I want mama. I have a video and she's just kicking her feet, and I just send it to Charo. And I'm like, hey, I think we're gonna have to switch. And I'm just in there rocking Scotty, like putting Scotty down, and just like, it's bothering me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
bothering me. I'm just like, this little shit, dude. And then all of a sudden she comes running in just to apologize and say sorry to Dad. And I'm like, I don't give it to her right away. And I'm like, why are you sorry?
This little 2-year-old. Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck do you mean?
2-year-old, yeah. And she's just talking like, I was frustrated, and Dad do bedtime tomorrow night. Dad do bedtime tomorrow night.
Yeah, I
I'm
bet
like,
you we'll see what happens tonight.
yeah, I know. Well, right when I woke her up this morning, I go up in the room, hey, Cerulean Bell, and she's like, I want mama. And I'm like, sweetheart, mama's downstairs. She's going to be up here in a little bit. And I'm like, once we kind of get over, she's like, I want to lay in bed for 3 more minutes. I'm like, all right. So I kind of just sit on the chair, and I'm like, you know who gets to do bedtime tonight? And she's like, Dad. I'm like, yeah, because Dad loves to put you down for bedtime. And on and on. But that is my pet peeve, when your 2-year-old and when your daughter is in, when your child, your toddler is in the I want mom phase.
Yeah.
Terrible 2-stage.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. And dude, my mother-in-law, she would always say, oh, you think it's a terrible 2? It's really a terrible 3s. And that pissed me off. So I was like, let me just get through this year.
Yeah. Can't you just end at 2
I'm like,
before we get to 3?
6 months into year 2, and you always want to talk about the next year being worse? That's terrible. All right, yeah, we got to get you out of here. It's 11:25 right now. Hey, thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's an honor.
Taking the
Great,
time.
man. Thanks for having me,
Great
man.
conversation, great insight.
Yep.
The stories you told were amazing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, it's an honor, because I just remember being young, high school, college, and watching you and watching that Pinky on TV,
We
just
got
being
the
like,
story.
man, what a bizarre Pinky he's got there. And now having you sit on the bus for a podcast,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
You know what's funny, though, about like just this type of arrangement and podcasting in general is, you start talking, all of a sudden the stories never stop coming, but you have to get triggered. Something will trigger the next story.
Yeah.
So it could be anything. But I think we're all like that.
Yeah.
We all have stories. But like, you can't just like tell all the stories. Something has to get you into that moment.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sure
what
I'm sure
podcasting
you got
does.
hours and hours of more
Oh,
stories.
you know
we'll have
he
to get
does,
you on
man.
again sometime, man,
Yeah,
because
we'll do that, guys.
We
hearing
will.
about the Globetrotters thing. And once you start talking about
Playing
Globetrotters, I'm like, we're gonna
basketball in the
have a
off
fucking-
season.
Yeah. And he's like, and then he just wants to drop in a dime, Monte Cristo, whatever the race. It's like, what the hell is going on?
Monaco.
Yeah, we'll have you back
Monte
on,
Cristo,
man.
Monaco.
Thank you,
Appreciate man. All
Baldy.
right, thanks, guys.
Big hugs, tiny kisses. Please subscribe.